hardship until they,
till next 2 years coming.
Yes, that's what he's saying.
Peter,
No.
what the gentleman has to understand is that this is a network.
Never use this mic, it's easier for you. This way you face him.
Okay, the network was a network that was developed by the VDC and managed by their own VDC under the project of the Ministry of Water Resources. So when they realized that the capacity or the demand for water was more than what they were supplying, they engaged NAVEC. And then we took over the system, and now we are just trying to make sure, we upgrade it to a level that can accommodate the entire community. So that is what he has to understand. But it was an infrastructure that was owned by the VDC of Tangier. So that is the bottom line.
Okay, so that's clear. Yes, you will endure this hardship until 2022, the earliest. All right. Africell are not yet here. Pura, anybody to deal with the petroleum question? What the question is?
Sorry, Peter. He also asked about electricity.
Yeah.
You said you don't have electricity.
We used to have electricity, but it used to be go on and off, on and off.
No,
It's
but not
steady.
these days.
Even yesterday.
How often does it go off?
Sometimes it takes 2 hours, 3 hours before it comes.
Yeah, because usually now when we have blackout, it's the only time that the system are gone off, and that won't take more than 30 minutes usually.
Yesterday it was
Oh no, let's not start another discussion. At least the electricity problem is there. They will work on it. Okay. Everybody has electricity problem, except State House maybe. A question at the back? Yes, please. Can you come? Okay. No, once the right people are back here, we know Africell and petrol stations. We'll deal with that later when the people are here. We're trying to save time. Yes, please, go ahead.
I have a question for QCell.
Okay.
We have a dongle, like the Wi-Fi dongle, and we pay, I think, it's like 2,300. No, it's like 2,002 something. I don't remember. But recently, I think a month or two ago, they decided to double their prices. So the plan we're paying for is like 4,000 something now. But they said you can still pay the same amount you were paying, but you just get less gigs, I think is what they said. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, so we decided it's no longer unlimited. So we decided to stick with the plan, like the amount we've been paying with less bytes or gigs, I don't know. And then the speed is completely bad. Like we used to be able to like stream videos, like Snapchat would like click, like you download it right away. But now with the new plans that they have, it's like extremely slow. Just for us to stream anything online is a hassle. So now I've given up. I don't even want to like stream anything anymore. So I just want to know like what is the problem? Like do we start paying 4,000 to get the speed we used to get? Even though they claim the speed is still the same, but I don't think so.
I'll suggest you use the other one. That way you can have eye contact with her, yeah? Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. First of all, I would like to clarify the fact that we did not double our prices. What you're referring to, when we first introduced those tariffs, the flyers right here, it said that it was a promotion. That was supposed to run. A promotion can be stopped at any time as per the Pura regulations. Fortunately for the customers, the promotion ran for 2 years. And that was unfortunate for us. But we still managed to run the promotion for that period of time. If you had the price you're talking about, I'm assuming that you have a 2 Mbps plan. If that's what you have, you still pay the same amount. The only difference is that your volume is now capped at a particular limit. That should not affect your speed because what you have is a speed-based plan. You're still able to get the unlimited plans if the customer wants, and that's where the increment comes in place. luckily for us, we have our customer care staff here. He can take your details and look at the specific plan you have, and he can look into your account, and we should be able to give you an answer before we leave this session today.
That is what I call customer care.
Exactly.
Say again. Take it from the top again, please.
You claim this promotion lasted 2 years. So I moved back home last year. When I came and I got the QCell, no one told me, oh, this is a promotion, by the way. Like, this is what we have to offer. Like, so I never knew this was a promotion for 2 years. Like, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. So I think maybe next time, if you're running a promotion, if people come to pay for it, tell them, oh, by the way, this is a promotion. It can end at any time. So I didn't notice. So for me, it's like, oh, you guys just woke up one day and just doubled all your prices.
In terms of media, every single television advert, radio advert, flyer, social media.
The office staff too. Like, not just because,
yes,
what if I don't listen to the radio?
That's fine, but just let me learn and then I'll address your concern. I'm just trying to explain to you that all media platforms, this has never been advertised as something standard. It's a promotion. If you walk into our customer care offices and the agent for some reason didn't tell you that it was a promotion, we would take that responsibility because you should have been told, and that has been communicated to all customer care agents.
Right.
So if you were not informed, then we take the responsibility and we would make, well, that wouldn't be the case anyways because the promotion is now over.
Right.
But Ibrahima would get your details and look into your account, but I can assure you that the speed should not be affected.
It is. It's horrible.
Okay.
But yeah.
Does the flyer say this is a promotion?
It does.
Okay. It does say it's a promotion. Okay. Very good. Yes, question?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My question goes to Nawek.
Yes.
I am staying at Willinkama, behind Bruce V. And we've been experiencing low voltage for the past 5 years. I was made to understand that there was no, transformer. So it has disturbed us a lot. So I'm asking Nawek, when are we going to have our own transformer? Because we've been experiencing low voltage for the past 5 years.
Willinkama, transformer problem. Somebody from the back? Can we answer this one? Or he will respond to the question? Okay. Yeah, let him come to the front here. Come here, just like everybody else. Just grab a mic and respond.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I guess the guy calling, he said, Willinkama. Willinkama around the Brusubi, I guess. Somewhere around last year, we made some intervention. The area is overcrowded. The transformer that was there was not able to handle the load that was there. So we intervened by putting another transformer beside, which we call BSB3. But that transformer also, due to the expansion, the large range or the large scope around that Burusubi Willinkama, still now that transformer is not enough. But this year also there is an intervention going to be made around that end, extending the medium voltage right inside Willinkama. And that process, we are still on it. Right now we are around the Nemakunku. From Nemakunku, I guess we will proceed to Burusubi. So I ask the patient for the customers, very soon you will see Nawek around that end to improve your voltage.
And this new transformer that you're going to take there, will it be full after another 2-3 months? People are moving towards Willinkama. Even I am thinking of moving to Willinkama.
Not like 2-3 months. I guess the transformer we put there, it was like 2 years back. Now the population have increased now.
Yeah.
The transformer we put there, in coupled with this one already there.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will take you more than 5 years now.
5 years?
Yes.
No, put a transformer that will accommodate expansion for the next 50 years.
Yes, that is the plan, but due to resource constraints, maybe we cannot afford more than that.
Nawek, you just got $66 million, not dollars, it's dollars.
We'll communicate to West Coast Radio maybe. They will.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Where's the willing Kamaga? Are you okay with that answer? Yeah, okay. Very good. Very good. Any other?
Hello, Peter.
Yes?
I wanted to ask a question.
Okay, go ahead, sure.
Yes. When the guy called to ask about the borehole in Jambu,
Yes.
I had a follow-up question because I had the Nawe guy answering that they had a plan to sink deep boreholes in certain areas. Now, my experience with boreholes are that if you live in an area where people dig wells,
Yes.
obviously at some point of the year they lack water because all the water is being done by the borehole. Now, if you're trying to sink this deep borehole, wouldn't it affect other borehole owners, especially those around? Because you're saying that they're going to do something in between Kitty and Sifo. And many people in that area have boreholes for gardening.
Okay.
Now, if you sink that deep borehole, wouldn't it affect their boreholes too? Because they're not going to be as deep as the one he's talking about.
Good question.
That's the question I
Second.
wanted to ask, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Davo, for the question. You know, underground we have two layers of water table. You have the shallow aquifer and you have the deep aquifer. Fortunately, we want to tap into the deep aquifer, which is about 300 to 400 meters deep. There you have water abundant. Once you tap there, it will have no interference with the shallow aquifer. That's why we want to put them at places where you even have our existing boreholes. We have the place already. We are putting one inside Brikama treatment plant where we have a borehole already. And we will put one into a circular tank where there is a borehole already because it will not have any interference with the shallow aquifer.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Yes. Is what? Needs an interpreter. Okay, so you stand there so that the cameras can pick you and then he stands here. Yeah, just go over there. No, don't worry, just somebody will come to you. You need both hands, not so?
No, I'm going to.
Yeah, but then you will be doing this.
He'll be doing that.
Or he'll be doing that?
Yes. I need this. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Abdul Kadir Rame. I'm a teacher at Gado. I have a question that is concerning Navik, that is the water. That is the link that we have. So, especially Brikama area. There are a lot of people there, and then water sometimes supply is very difficult for us. So, what of the other villages who are very, very poor areas, that are rural areas in Brikama? I think those places, I think, need to be supplied with water, definitely. They are suffering a lot. So definitely they need a lot of these facilities so that, and especially QCell and AFICell, GAMCell, I think also need to intervene in those areas so that their network also need to be very good. So there are a lot of houses around that area that are not with light. So what are your plans for that? To make sure they get current. So that's my question. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right, thank you. I think we had this question before. But here we are, second. Now services to Brikama.
No, Brikama, we have already surveyed about 55 extra kilometers to be executed in Brikama in the AFD project. That is from Medina all the way to Kembuge. So we have surveyed, and the project is already approved. The consultancy the consultants are being recruited, and once we implement, they will have water. The whole of Brikama, I'm sure.
Very good. Okay. Where's the guy who asked the question about AfriCell before? Yeah, come back here. We have AfriCell back. Yeah? Yeah, after. We'll come to you. Let's have the... Do we have the petroleum people? Okay. So your petroleum and AfriCell questions.
For AfriCell, they claim to be the leading GSM provider in the country. But certain part of the country, one example is Kiang, you find it very tough to connect to an individual whenever you have to make a call or connecting to an internet.
Okay. For petroleum?
For petroleum, petrol stations are, no, this thing is for Pura.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Petrol stations are very rampant in our communities. Examples like Bakode, the one around Bakode Dom side. The other one is around Wellingara Cinema. The list goes on, just to name few.
Okay.
And we learned that Pura is the regulator that used to give our license to operators.
Okay.
What are the factors towards these issues? Because they are very, very...
They're close to houses.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, very good. Let's start with Africell. You claim to be the leading, yet you are not everywhere.
Yes, that's right, and nothing can change that. But the fact of the matter is, universally, there is no coverage. Anywhere in the world, and that's a fact. We all know that. Go to America, go to Dubai, you have places that doesn't have coverages, and we are no exception. Yes, we cover 96% of the inhabitable areas of this country. There are still places that remains to be covered, just like the manner in which electricity went to Kiang for the first time after 52 years. We will soon be there, inshallah. We are rolling out a series of expansions with smart sites, and Kiang has now been IMAC'd. We are in Keneba, where we have a relay and transmitter. Probably sooner or later, the vast areas of Kiang, Keneba, Kayaf, and all those areas will now be connected.
So if you are in Keneba, it is not correct to say Kiang, generalizing.
It's not. It's
so
not
in
correct.
some areas of Kiang.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Tendaba, there is a problem out there along those areas, but hopefully Kiang would be just like the manner in which electricity came in. Sooner or later, you will be also very much connected.
Okay. Pura, why are you licensing operators to put their petrol stations where you have, accommodations and all of that?
I don't want to. Yes, thank you, Peter. Maybe the response we can give is the petroleum sector is the latest sector we are regulating, and in fact, we've invited some of our stakeholders to join us here. This is the first time they're coming to the Consumer Parliament. But regarding siting of stations, I would say that there are regulations just like any other sector, and they go through a licensing process with all the stakeholders. So as we speak, some issues have come up, and we're in fact reviewing the laws right now. And I think there will be separate consultation on that in terms of siting of petrol stations. But I can assure him that all the measures and safety standards have been done with other stakeholders to make sure that it's safe.
So this review you are conducting, is it with a view to avoiding repeating the mistakes that have been done now, or will it cover undoing the wrongs that are going now in the eyes of the people? For instance, the one along the Manjai to Bako, is it Kotusilo? That's been an issue for a long time.
Yes, so I don't want to specifically discuss a particular station because some
We're saying those ones that are controversially cited now, are you conducting this review with a view to rectifying those problems or avoiding repeating the mistakes that have been made already?
Yes, the review obviously is to improve, and certainly it will address both of your concerns. But I think some stations are under enforcement and some are in the courts, so I wouldn't want to discuss the issue. But I think not every station you see is also operating. So that doesn't mean just because it's existing, it's going to operate.
Yeah, because there's one coming up along Karaba Avenue. It's also the subject of great controversy.
Exactly. Well, I think so. That's what I'm saying. There is a framework being developed right now.
Okay.
And I think we can have further discussions on that.
All right. Issues, questions? Yeah. Yeah. Can we have the microphone over here, please? No, you shouldn't, yes. No. Yeah, you come to him. Now they will have to move. No, he's to remain there. So now they will have to move. You can't have it both ways, huh? One camera wants him there, the other ones don't want him there. Decide. Go on.
My name is Usman Said. I live at Farato. I say, officer, this customer care 1111. I think this thing is only for hearing people. What about the deaf people? How can we access this 111? I think also officer, sometimes we buy our credit for example $100 and just in a minute fat everything goes.
Fat is something else.
Yeah, definitely. So and also you see I'm a family man and I have brothers abroad and I need to communicate with them, but see my credit is sometimes waste for nothing. So I think it's not fair. So I think please I'm just begging, please help us to at least. And this thing goes to all other GSM like Comium, QCell and others, or GAMCell. So wasting our credits definitely doesn't tell well.
Can you clarify? Can you get him to clarify, how his credit is wasted? Is it because calls keep cutting or the video keeps buffering or what?
For example, for instance, like when I buy $100 or maybe 500 megabytes. So before just few hours, before I can understand, things goes off. They say it's finished, and even my what I'm even want to do, I'm not able to do it. So if I call this 1111, they will not even. You see, I'm deaf.
Okay.
How can I communicate with them? It's a problem, and it's a waste of time. So they should definitely look at this thing. And thank you so much.
Okay. He started out singling out Africell, but then later on generalized the problem to all the GSM companies. So if we may start with Africell, and then we get the others on board.
Yes, thank you. I think we addressed the issue of in the customer care's call centers not being able to really relate to the deaf and hard of hearing, and we addressed that. Hopefully, they will be able to send text messages to inquire. When it comes to the issue of data, and I think it's all about data, and we would just keep repeating ourselves in here. We will really get to the customers to know this thing. When such a thing happened and you don't know where this thing, your data went, do kindly walk into our customer care center and we will be able to really tell you where is your data and how is it spent. And really it has to do with your phones. So we would beg and try to make you to understand the gadgets in your hands, understand them. The apps are constantly running, consuming every single time, every single data in your phones. So, and that data, those apps don't belong to us. They don't belong to none of the operators in here. So please, if you have a problem, just walk into our customer care center. We'll be definitely able to help. Thank you.
The other operators? Comium?
Well, for Comium, we don't have much complaint in regards to credit going just like that, as he mentioned, FAT. Something like that.
Yeah, FAT is not even Comium.
No,
FAT is someone else.
And in regards to network also, our network is very strong and all people can attest, those that are using Comium lines, they can attest to that. So we don't have a problem with that.
Gamsel?
Sorry. If I may get it right.
Sadi, you can adjust the microphone. You don't have to. Yeah, exactly.
If I got right what he said, it's about the issue of them communicating to the 111. I think that question was answered earlier.
Yes, absolutely.
Sure.
QCell? Same.
I think we answered it,
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. I think the problem is some of them, because they are cut off, from their line of sight to their sign language interpreter, they don't catch it, so they're just repeating. So let's try to, it's usually the cameraman. I know you're trying to do your work well, but the others are here. Can we have from them somebody who will not repeat the same questions to Nawek about water supply and 111? By the way, you said 11111, and I was wondering what's wrong. It's just 111. Yeah. Yes, can we have someone else? Yeah, with a different question, hopefully. Yeah. Now you come here. Come to this guy.
Assalamu alaikum everybody. My name is Daud. No, that's right.
Okay, I thought he was using a different
No, he was going very fast.
Very fast.
Yes, my name is Usman. I'm living at Sukota. So I want to talk about this. I want to ask a question to Namek.
Shows water leakage.
Yes. Yes, talking about the pipes of Namek need to be definitely, when they're digging their holes to put this thing, what's it again? The pipes need to be deep so that it can be covered.
Deeper,
Yes, deeper.
Okay.
So I think if not, this water is leaking, and then sometimes at night, so people, this water disturbs a lot of people when they are working for their business and sort of. So I think they need to be very, very careful about this. Yeah, some people want to go to a program, and then this water will just splash on them, and then dirty their clothes. So please, I'm just begging, please try to look on how to help people on this.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now, this question comes up every year. Can we have nothing from this side? Yeah, okay, over there. Yeah, we will come there. What's he saying?
Assalamu alaikum. My
Walaikum
name is
salam.
Abdullah Njai from Speed Petrol Station. My question goes to Pura. I'm asking what are they looking for the safety measures of the depot at Mandinari? Because I've learned that the surrounding of the depot is very bushy, and now the grasses are started getting dry. Very easy to get fire. And for 2 years now, I'm going to the depot almost every working day, but I haven't witnessed any time they clear the area. The second question is inside the depot. The fire service there, their car is very old. I don't know, it's not good. Sometimes before they start, you push it.
Oh.
And I'm sure that the last time we experienced a fire there, is the fire service from airport, that's the one they came and rescued us there. If not, that area would have been finished by now. So I'm asking what the measures they are taking for the safety there. I have another question for Gamcell too. The GSMs, all GSMs. In Farafenya area, I'm not sure whether in Farafenya itself, but the surrounding villages, the network is not good. It's very, you get the network is very poor. The only GSM that's trying there is Comium and somehow Gamcell, and which is it's not good, it's poor.
Okay.
Sometimes the network is being overcome by the Senegalese network.
Okay.
Yes, I want to know why is that.
Okay, all right. Pura. Mandinaring Depot. If Pura is reluctant to answer, we will just end the parliament here.
No, I think it's a very valid point and observation. Regarding the fire service, I think it's a concern that we will share with our stakeholder, but this is outside our purview. But we do work very closely with the depot, and I can assure him that they have a very robust firefighting system, not just with the truck there, but there is foam and also a whole tank dedicated to respond to that, yes.
But what about, cutting the grass around the area?
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean,
okay.
I think we will take note of that.
Okay.
And then respond.
Okay, all right. And the GSM companies that have zero presence in this area, QCell and Africell, because Comium and a bit of Gamcell, just a bit, are present there.
Hi.
Oops.
Sorry, can you be more specific regarding the location so we can know?
What's the location? 2 kilometers from Farafenye.
And then the other side, when coming to Farafenye to Maka Farafenye, is also 2 kilometers.
That one, you can bear me witness with Bhai Mukhtatura. I know Peter Gomez, you know him.
Yes.
Whenever he's in Farafenye,
Yeah.
because we share a group, chat group, whenever he's in Farafenye, he cannot download our questions. And we used to give him questions for him to answer.
Okay.
But whenever he's Farafenye, he used to tell us that I'm in Farafenye, I cannot download, but it takes time to download your questions.
Okay. Okay.
And my village too is there, 2 kilometers from
Where's
Farafenye.
the second
same thing.
mic? Second mic.
I think that's what he wants.
Come to Mr. Augustine here. Okay. Here.
Thank you for the question. As far as QCell is concerned, we've done a lot of work at Farafenye. We've got now 2 sites in Farafenye just to make sure that the surroundings benefit from the coverage coming from Farafenye. But probably we need to work further to investigate these surrounding areas that you are reporting. You are the customer. It is true that you are experiencing some problem, and we'll look into it. But until now, we did not experience any such situation, but we'll revisit and see how best to address it. But really, we have covered Farafenye alone. We have 2 sites working right now, and one of them is a 4G site.
Mr. Tunkara?
Sorry, I just want to know if the gentleman has ever tried to call our 111 to report the complaint. So it's on record somewhere, or
yeah, he's getting the mic now.
No, I don't call 111. But this problem I'm telling is been there for a long time now. It's over 2 years.
Okay. So
yes,
what we're doing?
I've used to go there almost every month, but I experienced the same thing.
Okay.
And the boy motor I'm telling, Peter Gawaka be a witness. He used to get that problem too.
Okay. All right. Let's just go on with the one.
So what we'll do, Peter, our customer care associate is here. He'll go get his information and we'll look into it.
So somebody will ask a few questions to get some details with which they can start working to sort that problem out.
Yes.
Yes, Comium.
Comium, yes.
No, you recommended.
Okay.
Or you just want to bluff about it?
Anyway, I just want to thank him anyway. And in regards to network, really,
yes.
As I keep saying, all Comium subscribers can always attest to our network.
Yeah.
Yes, very strong.
I would have been surprised if you didn't use this to benefit. Yes, can we have a question? Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, mine goes to NetPage. Is NetPage here?
Thank God. NetPage there somewhere. NetPage? Okay, NetPage are here, right there with you.
Okay, by the way, I'm Cora from Agua,
okay.
CH facility at Kotu.
Okay.
And when I joined our company, they told me their first ISP provider was NetPage. They were having problem, they left NetPage. We went to QCell. QCell is during my time, we have a problem, I left QCell. I told them I'm going to Comium for the internet. So the QCell people even told me that when you go to Comium, you will come back. I went to Comium and what they say is true. The same thing, I moved from Comium and I went to NetPage. NetPage, I'm there. In the morning, the service is better. But around 2 upwards in the afternoon, the network is also always a problem. If I complain, I call them, they will tell me, switch off the modem and put it on. But that problem is still continuing. They have come there, the same problem. So I don't know what is the problem. Because now I'm even discouraged.
Okay, all right. NetPage, what is the problem? Is there a problem in the first place? Put on your microphone for me, please. Thank you.
Hello? Yeah. I guess you're in Kotu. Yes. You actually call customer care?
Yes.
Because I don't recall getting your report. Because any call that comes in, I'm always aware of it. And I'm sure you're on the fiber zone. And this fiber zone, it hardly goes down. So the only time when you have problems is when your router has a problem. When your router is manufacturing, most customers think that it's NetPage. But
no, he has his on, so yours will go.
Sir, let me come in. The router which was there, is your people even recommend me to go and buy from MP Trading? I bought a new one, put it there, still now. I even once called your MD regarding that issue. Maybe I don't know how comes you are not aware. 3 times I'm reporting that. They send your people twice. Still now. Once I even call your MD. So if you told me you are not aware, I'm surprised.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'll take note of it, then we sort it out.
All right.
Better Monday, Tuesday.
Okay, thank you. Can we have a second recorded question on video, please? We have 7 of those. We've done 1, 6 to go. Just one more now, and then...
My name is Usman and I live in Brikama. Well, I mean, everybody has challenges, but our challenges do differ. So I'm just going to elaborate on the one that I have. But basically, the main one is electricity and water as well. Like in our area, basically it's improving, like we do have light, but still now we are sometimes off, most of the time, like during the night, and it will take long hours before the light will come back. And sometimes our things that we put in refrigerators and other things that we store will even have some problem because of the long hour of shortage of light. Yeah? And the other thing is water. We do have water, but our pressure is not as it was before. Because like, for example, if you put a bucket under a tap, before it will take even less than a minute, the bucket will be full, or sometimes it will take even 3 minutes before it will be full. That is because of the pressure of the water is low. And if you are in a haze, like you are rushing to go to work, if you're supposed to take shower in, let's say, 3 minutes, it will take you up to 15 minutes to be set because of the pressure of the water. Communication also, the network sometimes is crazy. And I use Africell and QCell, but I use Africell oftenly. Sometimes you will call a number, this minute, they'll tell you your number is off. You try the following minute, it will be on. And despite all that, their credit is just unbearable, the way it flows, especially the internet credit. My QCell is the same. I can say all the networks are the same, basically. They all do the same thing anyway. You will call this number this second, it will tell you to switch off. You try it again in the next minute, it will be on. Or you will buy credit, like a huge credit, you will say, okay, I'm the one there. But it wouldn't even last some couple of, maybe even a day. For like me, I buy official data, like 1.5, they're 1.5. Before, if I buy it before, compared before and now, it used to serve me for like 1 week. And I'm using the same phone, but now if I buy it, it only lasts for 1 day. Or maybe 1 day, some hours, and it is gone. So I think that if that can be improved, or if it can be considered, we will really be delighted about it.
Man maa nekk Lamine Sidi ma nekk Lamine fii di liggéeyee fii waaye ma ngi am kër Farato waaye man na jafe-jafe bi ma am mooy Africell laa di use waaye network Africell bi definitely baaxut suma boor man because internet bi daf dee slow ba pare su ma jëndee crédit $50 soo uploadé ñaari vidéo mu jeex sa jafe-jafe yooyu laa am daal si affaire network seen internet bi baaxut ba crédit bi ni nga ko dee jëlee dafa garaaw trop. non am naa jafe-jafe affaire courant tam nawet because man fu ma dëkka fu ma am jënd kër léegi nii suma flat screen bi sax courant bi mënu koo yóbbu ba pare on and off bi ak mu ngi bugg a rey ba pare courant bi garanti wut so man laajtee gaañ rek fu boor boobu yëpp amul transformer mooy Farato so foofu nag jafe-jafe bu am nañ ko saati nawet tam ko saati naaw man bol fi sax su tàkkee da ngaa fa ne sondel moo nekk du tàkk.
The same question from different people all the time. Okay, Nawek, would you like to talk about the electricity and water problem of Brikama?
Maybe I'll drop on the electricity.
Yes.
You were saying like the on and off at Brikama. Yeah, some time ago we do have so many problems at Brikama due to this overloading. Yeah, but for Brikama, I can say now it is most of the areas that we are experiencing that problem are now solved because so many transformers are energized around that end. So it is a video, maybe if he was here, he may attest to that. Or people who are at Brikama can improve. Yes, there is a significant improvement around Brikama.
Okay.
Yes.
Pura, when were these video questions recorded? 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago? a week ago. So he's saying that things have since improved. If he was here, according to him, he would attest to the fact. Musa, Pura wants you to deal with the question of 1 minute. I'm trying to call you. You know, your prompts tell me that the line is off, and the next minute I'm going through. What's responsible for that?
That could be a technical, issue. I think probably it might be a congested network or something like that within. But as he said, when he goes back to call, the line would eventually open and the call is made. I just want to make an appeal and indulge in most of the questionnaires here this afternoon. Most of the questions and queries have been dealt with, but I want to indulge you. Please, for the sake of this parliament and for eventual parliaments and other sessions, and the area or colleagues that you might be dealing with, if you are asked to come forward to remedy a situation, please do so and help another customer or another consumer like you who might be experiencing the same problem or complaint in terms of why is my data gone or how is my credit spent. You'll be able to help us, help yourself, and help others. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Sise? We have the executive, it's director, right? Secretary. Executive Secretary of the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission.
Thank you, Peter. Good afternoon.
We told him not to let you touch the mic. We're trying to protect you from COVID-19.
Oh, that's fine. That's good. Yes, as you said, I'm the Executive Secretary of the Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. And I think that in such a forum, it is important to stress that we have the Consumer Protection Commission, because most of the things that we are talking about is about redress. How do you get redress if X happens? So I think it will be very apt for us to tell you what your rights are under the Consumer Protection Act and how you can get redress. I'll allow Fabakari, who is the Consumer Protection Manager, to talk briefly on that. It will not be more than a minute. But I also have a question as a consumer.
Sure.
And it has to do with drop calls from Gamcell. I've been raising these questions for the longest time. I mean, I have a 996 number as government, and afraid I don't even use it because I can communicate. Thank you. Now, I would like Fabakari to talk briefly about the Act and how we operate, how we interface with Pura, etc.
Pura, why didn't you have them here from the very beginning? Why are they coming in now?
No, we were here since in the morning. We were here.
Why were they? They should be over here then, or near you. Nobody told me the Competition Commission was here. They are responsible for us, consumers. Huh? Yes, go ahead, Fabakari.
Okay, thank you very much. I will just try to give you a brief background.
Your boss says you can do this in 1 minute, and I'm timing you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm from Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, and our responsibility or our mandate is to make sure that we eliminate all sort of misleading market conduct in the market. And we also work with Pura to make sure that we resolve consumer protection issues amicably. Pura has its mandate, the Commission also has its mandate, but we have an MOU and we operate within the framework of that MOU to make sure that Pura does what is best placed to do and consumer protection. The Commission also does what it's supposed to do. Okay. So, for example, if you bring a complaint to the Commission that is about, for example, telecommunication network or other service providers, we refer you to Pura within the framework of the MOU. Then if you go to Pura and then Pura is not has not resolved your case or your complaint to your satisfaction, you can come back to the Commission. We will engage Pura again, but then if Pura doesn't do what it's supposed to do, then we will try and resolve that matter through alternative dispute resolution. And the event of the failure of the settlement negotiation or the ADR process, then we take the matter to the tribunal for adjudication. Okay. But more importantly, there are a lot of issues that are stated here. For example, people getting...
I'll give you 30 more seconds only.
Okay. People getting messages that they did not or did not subscribe to. I will refer them to Section 7.1 of the Consumer Protection Act 2014, which states that
before a consumer or a provider gives any service or product to the consumer, he should bring all the terms and conditions to the attention of the consumer before or upon the execution of the contract.
Okay.
And also...
Babakar, you'll have to ask for the floor, and then we'll give it to you. Thank you so very much.
Okay,
You've taken 2 minutes when I should have only given you 1. Sorry, let's address the drop calls from Gamsel. He has a 996 that he is not using just because, I mean, he can't communicate, he says.
Thank you very much. I think it's Mr. Sise, right?
Yes, it is.
Of course, it has to do with network. And as I have mentioned earlier, we're working on a very inclusive project that will take care of all these network issues by 2021.
Right. Now, if you're listening at home or watching at home and you want to send us a question, you can send it through 148. We are getting questions sent to us through 148, like this one for NAWEC. Why does NAWEC have different operational hours for those in Bara compared to those in the combos? From 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. and between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. And only one person will be in the office at a time. Bara, they're not happy with your service. Wasan is customer service? I thought Tijan, okay. I would have said Tijan would deal with this one. So while he's settling down, AfriCell, get ready. Why does AfriCell subscribe people to coolery service without their consent? So you're subscribing people, according to this texter, to the coolery service without first asking their consent. Bara. Microphone, yeah.
Good afternoon to everyone. The question about the difference between the provinces and the GBA is that we do operate a tow shift in the provinces. Like, we don't want the cashiers to work more than 8 or 9 hours in a shift. So that's why we have to start from 8 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock. And then you take a break and come back 5 o'clock till 8 in the evening. This has been, the way we operated since the past 2-3 years. What's going to happen is that once
That is not in agreement with what this person says. 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
No, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. is weekends. Weekends we do operate till 1 o'clock, but if you come from Monday to Thursday, we do operate till 3 o'clock. That's what we have in the provinces. During the COVID, when we had to revise that to 2, and then we come back at 5:15. Still the 8 hours is still maintained. But we don't close at 1 o'clock during weekdays, no.
Okay, all right. Thank you. AfriCell, your coolery service, apparently you are subscribing people to it without their consent.
Yeah, thank you very much, Peter. We don't subscribe anyone to coolery service. As far as you are a subscriber to AfriCell, and the number of years, if you look at the coolery service, it depends on the number of years you spent with the network. That determines what amount of credit it's loaned to you. You are not subscribed. If you don't like it, if you don't want it, simply just send an SMS to, stop to 7189. Just 7189, stop. You will not be, considered for any sort of credit that will be lent to you. So it's just simple. But we don't subscribe to anybody. If you are part of the network, it's open to you.
Yeah, that's the problem. You're asking me that, if I don't want to continue on. In the first place, I never asked to be on it.
Yeah, but you are on the network and we are giving this just a helping hand. If you don't want it, just stop. Just ask us to stop it. We will definitely be happy to stop it for you. At no cost. We're very happy to do that. It's just an open thing, but it's good that it's brought up.
So that is admitting automatically subscribing people then to the coolery service.
As I said, no one's number is automatically subscribed. If you are part of our network, you are part of the family, it is just a way of helping you. If you don't want it, tell us kindly we don't want it. We will just easily pull your number out. So whenever your credit runs out, it runs out. So there's no way to fall back.
Okay, let's ask Pura whether they are satisfied with the response.
No, we are not.
Thank you.
Because you cannot impose on people to subscribe to a service which they haven't requested. So you're supposed to have this
consent.
the consent, and also in addition, there is this suppressed file that you're supposed to have as a provider, that you have to know what your consumers are, what they need in terms of their requirements. So you cannot just impose or just subscribe to 188 like your Spice Up service right now, because consumers are receiving messages saying that we've been forced to subscribe to this particular service, or I did not request for it. So it should not happen. You should be able to differentiate your different consumers, what they are opting for and what they don't want.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Please stand up, introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Mohammed Sane. I work at Alfala Radio. I want to direct this question to Nawek. During August on the 30th, we had some electrical problem at the radio. It went up to, I think, 24 hours, more than 24 hours. Our surrounding were benefiting from the electricity, except the premises that we were at the Gambia Super Islamic Council around MDI Road, kind of thing. So we called, when we detect the problem, we thought that it's just a normal, electrical problem when you lose some electricity for some hours and then you have it. But it went up to more than 24 hours. So we called there, they came up with the technician or the electrician. They came to the campus and then they worked on our issue. And then they started from one office, and then just a bit they were about to have some electrical accident. So luckily, electrical accident. Yes, but so luckily it didn't happen. And then they came to our radio. When they came, we explained the problem to them. And I traveled that day to Fonyi, but my staff were there. So the electrician, when they came, they fixed the matter, and then they told my radio technician, you can turn on your machines. In their presence, when they turned on the machine, at that spot, the same spot, our radio transmitter was blown off.
Whoa.
In their presence.
Tens of thousands of dollars.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Not more than 100,000. It was 2,500 kilowatts, the radio transmitter.
Wow.
So it was blown off. Then the only thing they could say, when I asked my radio, they said, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. So when I came, I said, okay, before we take any action, let me call our technician to come and check the transmitter for us before we will conclude that it's all blown off. And then in the office, there are so many items were blown off. Our dispenser, router, so many things were all blown off. So when the technician came, he confirmed it and told us that this is all blown off. You cannot even, the only solution you have to do is to buy a new transmitter. So I said to myself, what can we do? Because we were not in a position to buy a new radio transmitter. I wrote a letter to the director of NAWEC, myself, and my boss told me that I wanted to copy Pura. He said, okay, before you copy Pura, send it to them. If they have responded, we can settle it among ourselves. Then later, if they didn't respond or nothing happens, we can copy Pura and see what was going to happen. So I didn't copy Pura directly. I sent the letter to the NAWEC, explained the whole thing to them, and then matter what happened, even what the technicians or the electrician said when the transmitter blew up. I put it in a quote, oh sorry, for them to have a picture of what happened. Yes. So still now, I did not receive anything from them. And it went up to 2 months, the radio was not operating. Thank God our followers, those who were our followers of the radio followers, one just came up and donated us with a radio transmitter, 1,000 kilobytes. And some of our kilowatts exactly. One of our some followers also came. They give us some support. Alhamdulillah, we came back to transmission. But I want to ask Nawek, if such happened again, or what happened to us? Is it only sorry that we are going to hear? Okay. What next? What can they do for us? Okay. And last time Pura, they came to my office. They came to ask for this annual fee that the radio pay, and then they found us in the work. I told them we have a problem at hand, which is bigger than this one. Because we spend more than almost to 500,000 transmitter and all other things that we've done. And they just told me that you could have copied Pura and see what I said, okay, I already wrote to them and I'm still listening what they are going to tell me before I will raise the issue to you. So as far as they are here, I see this as an ample opportunity for me to tell me what are they going to do about this if it happened again, or what happened to us. Is it the only sorry we are going to hear? If, for example, they are not in the present, maybe one can understand. But they came and they work on, and they give us permission to open, on the machine.
Okay, we got that. Okay, we'll allow Nawek to respond. I think Pierre Silva wants to take this one.
Yes, Peter. I am just hearing this for the first time, and I think all correspondence...
When was this? Because you remember they changed managing directors recently. This last August, 30th of August. So Nani, the present managing director.
Yeah. All
no, it's okay.
All correspondence or letters that are written to the managing director pass through our records, and I'm not sure, because if we have such a problem and it goes to the managing director, he makes it to me to work with the department that is responsible to make sure that we go and see what is really happening. But he can give me his contact so that by Monday I would see where this letter is, or if he can contact the person that he has sent to Norway where the letter has gone to. I will make a follow-up, because normally what we do when there are such problems, we will send in our technicians to go to where the problem is, and they will also try to see what had gone wrong, and then they will do write the recommendation for MD to decide whether we should do the compensation or not. So we need to establish where this letter is, and then from there we can do what is necessary.
So the option of compensation does exist?
It is possible, yes.
Okay, all right. Yes, there's this. I hope it's not about NAWEC and leaking pipes and GSM companies that don't have services for hard of hearing, because we've dealt with that already. If it is that, we've addressed that, 3-4 times. What's he saying? Talk to me. What's he?
Yeah, I think it's almost the same.
It's the same thing. Yeah, then we will move on. We want something different. Yeah. We have cleared, so tell them also to be attentive. Yeah.
And the second thing is, second question is continue.
Yes. What? Yeah. Come, Jiman. Yeah. I think they have a stronger connection with this one.
Yes. With regards to the bonus, this is an appeal that I'm making. If AFICEL can turn our bonus for us to also browse with it, because for QCell it's easier to browse with the bonus, but for AFICEL the bonus has been there. So after buying credits, we've been left with a lot of credits and we've not been using it. If AFICEL can also change that bonus for us to also browse with it, I think that will also help us. So if we have that, we'll be very pleased. In 2017, I can equally remember when I was at Westfield. But one of the things that we were saying was we communicate via video communication, and then most of the connection is not as expected, because we deaf people, we most of the time communicate with our partners outside. So, but we also want to appeal to all the GSM operators, being AFICEL, QCell, GAMCell. Let them please make it affordable, because most of us are not employed, or even if we are working with, having the money to buy internet is sometimes very, very difficult. So if they can also bring the tariff down for deaf people or for all Gambians, I think that would be good. So sometimes, when we have issues, we give our phones to our siblings or our family members to call customer care for us. So most of the time, this customer care staff members don't have patience to listen to what our queries are. And the last thing, I came late. I don't know whether they've talked about this with regards to TV stations. I'm appealing for all Gambian TV stations to at least employ sign language interpreters, so that we can also feel ourselves as Gambians, and then we'll feel like home. I think Gambia will be a home for us. But for now, we've been complaining when we have programs with our stakeholders, when we have DEFIC celebrations. We've been complaining, but still we've not seen improvements now. Yes, we've been. Because when we normally upload videos on our WhatsApp groups, or when we communicate between each other, before our videos are loaded, it takes time. So please, if they can adjust to help us, this will definitely help us a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we dealt with, most of those things, except for one thing. Unfortunately, people don't like comparisons, especially when they don't favor you. With QCell, they can browse with bonus data. AfriCell, still a problem. When can this be fixed? And she is right. This was first brought up 3 years ago at the monument.
I mean, that was right. I think I can fully remember. But we're yet to act on it. It's a suggestion, and because a credit is a credit and data is data. So probably we would have to see how best we can merge in transforming a bonus data.
I was going to say you can convert voice credit to data.
I
so
can't
the
convert
bonus
it,
is
but-
voice credit, so
Yes.
you should be able to convert it to
Hopefully,
data.
we will put this thing to management and technicians to see how best, if possible.
Okay.
And so that they can also benefit.
Hi, Africa. If we have people queuing up with with telephone calls, we can put them on. Just give us the signal.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, hello. Good evening.
My name is Pura and I'm calling from.
Go ahead, we're listening. Just go ahead. There's a delay on the line, obviously.
Hello? Okay, I'm live now?
You are live. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I have a question, actually a couple of questions, okay? So, forgive me if these questions have been asked before because I've been following your program on and off today. So, I'll just give you a little story and background about why I decided to call today and what have been bothering me, and I know it have been bothering most of my Gambian brothers and sisters for a while. So, my experience when I came to the Gambia here, I rely heavily on the internet. Okay, so I usually buy AfriCell, the service that they had before, which was 2700. I forgot like how many gigabytes they used to offer. I believe it was 100 or 80. I'm not sure, but one thing I don't understand is I worked in the technology field for the longest, and it has always been mind-boggling for me as to why the GSM operators in the Gambia have such a very, very steep, price when it comes to offering connectivity to the rest of the world. I cannot understand why in the Gambia, it's the only country that I know whereby you literally have to, the average salary of the Gambian is far, actually the internet connection price for the average Gambian is far higher than their average salary. Okay, so when it comes to gigabytes, I know 100 megabytes make one gigabyte. Why is all the GSM operators in the Gambia, they claim they have 100 gigabytes, like if you pay for the 100 gigabytes. As for me, I know how technology works, I don't go online and be browsing or whatnot. Hello?
You are on. Go on.
Okay, so, the point that I want to make is, if AfriCell and QCell can be able to help the Gambian people understand how they are charging the consumers, because you cannot give me 100 GB, which I'm only using to browse the internet, and a day or two, you're telling me that I've consumed or used like 20 gigabytes of that said data just to browse the internet. I want to understand why is AfriCell and QCell, the way they charge their consumers is different from the rest of the world. Because 100 GB is not 100 megabytes. You cannot run 100 GB within 10 or 15 days of 24 hours of usage. Okay. So how are they calculating that?
Okay. You have another question?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Pura have a similar question to this one on video, so we will put them together and then answer them both at once.
telephone communication men jahal je wala cross connection o nyinti ni be AfriCell ite commune kola no ibe commune ite chiuser kola no because moment kamo wala sabana so line sabanani so to sifal mawol no wala batani bak
fekkee ne man maa ngi liggéey te suma liggéey bi officiel bu ma mun a may su ma waree am dara si whatsapp bi laa ko am wala ma lifin so léegi yow crédit bu maa use noonu su fekkee ne lu ma am yëpp dafa dem si crédit kon den man lu ma liggéey ak officiel lan la that's no benefit so dafa war a try by all means mu dimbale customer yi xaalis bi lu ñoo use mu easy si ñun at least mu profitable waaye loo xam ne comme ça yaa ngi ko use yaa ngi business amuloo si benn profit out of it because as officiel ñu ngi business ñun tamit ñu ngi business because ñun ñoom ñoo ñu boot ñu am seen line bi line bu ñoo use noonu ma ngi la call yow sa boppa booy ñëwal nga jël sa alal ñëwal nga def nangam nañ tasee place nga jox ma nangam yow man bala maa wax loolu ak yow bés bu nekk dinaa spend $100 or $200 times 30 is $6,000 a month through my phone, including yow mi nga xam ne yaa ma jox line bi with the beneficial thing that you are having through my line. You understand?
So da nga dee jënd megabyte ngay sa data bi 100 megabyte nga activate ko suddenly mu jeex. You will not understand why the data is being consumption rate is high and you are not benefiting from it. Especially in students, then they want to have online lectures during this pandemic. So then they want to generate, then you they job credit, you want to use, you are not benefited from it. Then I want to download some PDF file, and you do 200 megabytes, you are not benefited from it. And my message to the official board of directors, I would like them to improve their data ratio for us to benefit from it.
GSM will fana GSM near the Gambia and definitely Gambia airtime is just too expensive and then sakona femko mimo nyim bytes ni megabytes ibuka kalamu do bi jega credit go fango sanne fango ya mira ko credit go bela funo ko and the next minute fango yman call fango ya tara credit go nyim fango is gone credit card loss wonyam wala tara call la fango e modo la voice for me along it's not the same person. I'm right now on Tembe I'm using almost 3 different lines, but this happens mostly with Africell. Definitely I do have a lot of problems in those areas. Whilst calling others, the call suite to someone else that I'm not calling. And then the airtime too is too expensive. I think they have to do something about it. Yeah, the Gambian airtime is just too expensive.
Okay, GSM companies, from what I can deduce from that caller, you guys are ripping us off. Come on. You should be much cheaper than you are, according to... let's start with Joe King. Yeah? Do you have internet? No. Okay. Okay, let's start with Africell again.
Yes, thank you. This is a very difficult one because sometimes the truth is difficult to take, but we will learn to take some of those things at times. When people talk about internet being expensive, I wonder, what are they talking about? Because if you look at the Gambia is lying in the third quarter or midway in the rate of internet charges in Africa. I'm not talking about Europe, in Africa. Eswatini, which is Swaziland, is charging $21 for a gigabyte. $21 for a gigabyte. In Gambia, a gigabyte, for example, is just $5. $5. The cheapest in Africa we're talking about, for example, in Egypt is 1.2. And there are lots of factors responsible for these things. To suggest that it's expensive in here with the kind of technologies that we all have in place in providing you with the service, these are huge investments. And investors need their money back for them to be able to reinvest. So sometimes these complaints, but it's much welcome because it's something that we need to look into because we want you to use the service that we're providing you. But I also want you to look at comparatively, when you speak about how expensive an internet is or a data is in this country. Because we are all users. I'm a user, you are a user, and we all pay the same thing. Thank you. But if you also want me to tell you, because the rate, a kilobyte, that's a KB, because as the first caller was mentioning.
Please, those of you at the back, can we listen? Yeah?
A kilobyte.
Hello, who is doing the sign language there at the back? Please, can we, yeah? Can we have some silence? We want to hear here. Maybe this is why you are missing a lot.
Yeah.
You watch here, and who is signing the language here? Yeah. So let them watch him, so that they don't keep coming up with the same questions that have been answered 10 times over. Yes, go ahead.
The gentleman out there, probably, you know, we all have very good people in here who very well knew what they're talking about. As always the case, comparatively, most of us are here, most of us sitting down here don't know what we're talking about. But that's not the issue. A KB costs 25 batuts because that's what he was asking for. A kilobyte is, the smallest unit of data. So it costs 25 batuts. 25 butut doesn't even exist in our currency at the moment.
How much does the gigabyte?
A gigabyte is 254. Yeah,
251. Okay. It was interesting. You compared us with Eswatini, where you say they are charging what, $25?
$21.
$21.
And Zimbabwe is the second, which is $20.
What would be interesting is to compare salaries with Eswatini. I'm sure they would also be higher.
Yeah, I equally want to continue to talk about salaries, Egyptian salaries to Gambian salaries.
Yeah.
The Gambia is lying midway in Africa, so probably, there's a lot of things responsible for this thing. So there's no single way that you can tie the Gambian data, prices to that of South Africa, for example, or the African continents like Seychelles, Chad, Libya, Namibia, Mauritania. Even Mauritania is charging almost $10 for a gigabyte. So what is Mauritania? South Africa is charging $6, and South Africa is a wealthy, huge nation, and the population equally.
I think Ami explained it better by saying it depends on the number of people. It's volume thing. But what you raise up is really cause for concern.
Yeah.
This is a country where the majority of people live below what? They live on less than $1 a day. We live on less than $1 a day, and for data they're asking us to pay $5. This is a
Depends on how you really want to work on this, and
this is a major thing. Because what we're saying is, you use most of your salary just to buy data. You've lived in the West where you don't spend much on food.
I think I'm speaking for all the operators in here, so this is this is something that.
Okay, we have a caller. Let's put the caller on. Good afternoon. Or is there another signal? Okay, let's move on. Qsal, you want to say anything? Ami? I thought you explained it a lot better the last time, that the reason why we're paying so much for data is because we are this little, but we want to live like the people who are like this.
Exactly.
And basically that's, everything comes at, yes, let's have Mr. Cisse from GCCPC.
Thank you, Peter. Don't buy. I cannot take offense at his answers. Because we have to understand, we are Gambia. We belong to a region. So when we benchmark, I'm not interested in benchmarking with South Africa. We belong to ECOWAS. And our next door neighbor is Senegal. And we've done the study, and they are much cheaper than us. And I think that's the relevancy. Not, salary and all of those things. But we belong to a region. We are much more expensive than most countries in the ECOWAS region. And I think that's what we should look at. The other issue on messages, on solicited messages. Again, Officer answered it, but I saw Jamila interjecting to say that she's not happy with it. Because we've discussed it. It is a violation of Section 7.1 of the Consumer Protection Act.
Violation?
It's a violation.
Okay.
And we are not going to take it lightly. So, because what he's talking about is how you opt out. But you haven't opted in. So that's the whole issue. You did not opt in.
Okay.
So why should you opt out?
Well, that's why we have the parliament, so that some of the complaints of people, if they can be redressed, immediately they are redressed. You're promising us that as the commission set up by the state to look into consumer affairs, you will do something about it.
In fact, on the other issue of billing too, what we've done with Pura, we are working on a program called Transparency in Data Billing, which will also address some of these issues. Because sometimes I think there is a difference between, sometimes you ask about billing and the answer is on usage. And they are not the same. And I think that needs to be also understood.
Okay, fantastic. All right, do we have anybody waiting to speak to us? iAfrica? No. So Can we have the lady at the back, please? Come to the front. Okay, the microphone will come to you. If you're listening to us or watching us, either on your mobile phone or on TV, and you want to take part, 148. 148. Yes, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Binta Fati, and I'm a reporter from iAfrica. I have a question to Nawek. I live in Bakau, and what we use is a cash power. But sometimes you go to their center where you buy cash power, and they will tell you that they don't have a network. I mean, there is no network, so you have to go back again. And sometimes it takes hours before the problem is solved. And it doesn't happen once. It kept on repeating itself. And another question is for Pura. Okay, consumer parliament is very good, and we have people who come every year, but the same issues are being raised constantly. What is Pura going to do about these things to ensure that the next parliament we will not be discussing about some of these issues? Thank you very much.
Good questions, good questions. Let's start with Nawek. Availability of network to sell cash power.
Thank you very much, Peter. Actually, NAWEC also has a service provider when it comes to network issues. And in actual fact, that is why we are maybe working on having our own network that we can use, maybe different from the maybe GSM operators that are connecting us right now, or maybe different from the operators that are connecting us right now, because this thing has become an issue, and it's like sometimes when it happens to almost 90% of our branches don't operate, and that is sometimes it creates chaos, because for example, when it happens in the evening, and then let's say it comes back around maybe 8 o'clock or sometime around 9, when the offices are already closed, we are left with only one branch that will be on operation. So that is where the problem comes. So that is why we are definitely working on trying to make sure we have our standalone system that will be handling our network issues.
When do you think you will finally get your own
as
standalone?
part of the project that I just mentioned, that will be handling our meter reading issues as well, which is IMS project, which is coming live in July 2021.
By July 2021,
Yeah.
that should be a thing of the past. Pura, should I direct this question to your DG? What will Pura do to make sure that when we reconvene here in a couple of years' time, we won't be having the same questions about 111, especially for people who are hard of hearing. We won't be having the same questions about burst pipes that NAWEC, cares very little, if anything at all about, and all of that. Who is to answer? Mr. Jallo or the board chair? That would be asking too much.
Let me try.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you. I think if you look at the nature of the questions, they are very in many forms.
No, some have been.
Some are operational,
Yes.
some are policy issues, that are also some are management. If you look at the issue of the burst pipes, there is also, as Namek said, there is a lot of erosion. And every year that is going to happen. Because
they're not very deep. And every year,
they are normally very deep. If you see the pipes they are digging now, they're almost 50 centimeters or below, or more than that. But erosions happen over the
we're
time.
talking meters. Put them down, put them below meters.
Well, that's a standard, Peter. You cannot go below.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a standard, and erosion is happening. Also, if you look at the issue of, maybe one of the issue of network expansion, this is ongoing. You cannot just electrify the whole Gambia in one day. So this will happen, and also network congestion. As the network is used, more people are on the network, that you experience call drop. So they need to reinvest and also improve the network. So, but there are certain things like the forcefully subscribing people to certain platforms. We will address that, as Jamila said, like caller service. They need to suppress people. It's not open.
Yeah, and ringtone.
And ringtones and those things. But the other operational issues are ongoing, and we have to battle with that until such a time we reach at a certain level. But as long as it's really...
Cost of data, anything you can do about
Yeah,
that?
the cost of data, comparatively, they are compared also to Senegal, and I think the lady from Q said attempted to answer that. Compared also to Senegal is a little bit unfair also in terms of the population also. But we are also, here we have a lot of taxes in the system also.
just recently there is a sport levy on the GSMs. So all these things are things that are factored into the price, the tariff.
Yeah, let's ban sport in this country so that we don't have to pay a levy.
So, but we are also working on it. We are also looking at the data verification system, as Mr. Caesar said. We are trying to, by next year, we'll look at how these data are consumed on their network. But for now, we don't have any visibility, to be fact.
Okay.
We don't have any visibility. We just go by what they tell us. But hopefully, when we have those equipment, we'll be able to see what happens on there. You should be able to verify at our end.
Okay, I have a question for Africell from here. When you go to Nyomi towards Berending to Bangali, the Africell network is always 0. And to my village specifically, Medina Sering Mas, Africell was the best, but when QCell put an antenna up in the village, we can no more have any proper Africell network. We want Africell to do something about it. When QCell were not there, you were the best, you were okay. QCell came, you're no more the best, Africell. That's what they're saying. And the village is called Medina Sering Mas.
Yes, Medina Sering Mas for obvious reason. We are coming up with a tower in Kirchorno, which is in that area. Of course, Nyomi, SL, we have networks. We have a site along this area which tend to be very much attracting subscribers around that end. But we believe that the new site that we're putting up would put us equally on top or take us where we used to be. But that's just part of the new expansion we are rolling out.
Okay, all right. Well, my interpreter is from there. He has a question.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Apate Sow. I am resident of Burfoot. Recently, about a week ago, I experienced a very serious issue concerning the water flow from Nawek, because we've observed some black substance in our taps whenever we open them. You can easily see it is visible. I don't know what is the cause. I thought that it was my personal tap that was affected, but I went to some of the neighbors, but the same thing also was experienced. So I am therefore asking Nawek, how frequent does they clean up their overhead tanks or big supply tanks, annually or monthly? Thank you very much.
Nawek, second. How often do you clean your reservoirs?
Yeah, I can get it.
Sorry, hold on a second. Apparently somebody's on the line, just routed in. Hello, yes, we can hear you. Go ahead. Okay, they can't hear us. That's more than a deep.
Either it was misunderstood or it wasn't, answered to my satisfaction. So the question goes again. Okay, I'm not really interested as to how much a European country is paying for internet in contrast to Gambia here. What I'm interested to know is if the GSM companies really understand what a gigabyte stands for. Okay, why are they giving people false hope that if you buy 100 GB, it cannot even last you for 10 days. And here is my concern and my proof as to why I believe it's still, really expensive as to how they are charging their consumers. Okay, I work from home. I have a MacBook. Okay, I know how data works. I have an application that really all it does is to gauge my traffic. Like how much data is coming in and out of my system. Okay, so all of my applications that usually upgrade automatically, I shut them down. I have to shut them down, including my operating system itself. So everything that I'm doing is just browsing the internet. Okay, and any page that I open, really, it only takes kilobytes of my overall data for that application or page to open, right? But after 2 hours or 3 hours of browsing, if I need to look at my data, try to see how much I'm seeing that 6 GB has extracted from the overall data. So can Africell and QCell help me understand why just browsing opening a couple of pages that are in kilobytes, not even megabytes. 100 kilobytes makes 1 megabyte, and 100 megabytes, 1,000 kilobytes makes 1 megabyte, and then 1,000 megabytes makes 1 gigabyte. So if I'm charging in kilobytes, why am I being charged in gigabytes?
Okay, thank you.
Because the pages that I'm loading, really, they are not even in megabytes. They are in kilobytes.
All right, we understand you. We'll come back to that. Second, let's go ahead with the cleaning of your reservoir. Second.
Thank you very much. It's right. We had an issue on our transmission line from Brikama. Actually, it was not from the tanks. But we have this chlorine that we use. Sometimes it forms particles inside the pipeline. And when you are out of operation for sometimes you have those debris. But they are not anything that one should be worried about because they are not harmful. And immediately it happened, it came to our attention. We flushed the line, and within the next day it was all cleared. We first observed it in Virkama, and then it followed the West Coast line to Bufut. It took about a day to clear it. But the samples were taken and analyzed, and all the parameters are within the WHO listings.
So did this happen just one day?
Yeah. We have a maintenance plan where we regularly clean our tanks and then flush our network. But this happens mostly when you have an outage for a longer time on a transmission line.
And when the last time it happened, you cleared it up in one day.
Exactly, yeah.
So it only affected consumers for one day.
Exactly.
Okay, let's ask the questioner whether he agrees with that.
I quite disagree because I have observed it for over 3-4 days before it ceased.
So he enjoyed it for 3-4 days.
But for Brikama, when we realized it, it was cleared immediately.
You don't live in Brikama?
And I don't live in Brikama. And as he is alluding to, it is not a threat. It is a threat. When something white is being produced and you expect only white to come out, you should not see any black spot. It is alarming. Let them do something about it, please.
Yeah. He's saying you can sit there and argue that it's nothing to worry about, but it caused them worry for 3-4 days. Yeah.
The customers, they really worry. What we are saying them that is
GSM companies, are you selling kilobyte as megabytes and megabytes as gigabytes? Because that's what I understand from the guy. He's simply saying it's humanly impossible to consume 1 gigabyte within 10 days. Let's start with QCell this time. Everybody defend yourself. QCell going up. QCell, GAMCell, AfriCell, Comium.
I am actually confused by his question.
Yeah.
Because
well, he's saying it's not possible to consume 1 point something gigabytes in 10 days. And he's saying 1,000 kilobytes equals 1 megabyte. 1,000 megabytes equals 1 gigabyte. And basically, he's giving you the thousands to say that what you guys are selling as gigabytes may be, actually megabytes, if not kilobytes, in fact. No, she is on, so you'll never be on. She has to go out. No.
I can download 5 gigabytes in 10 minutes in my office, so I have not, like she says, I'm confused by his question. Okay. I can download, please.
All right, so the GSM companies, you have something different to say, Sadio? Not at all. Musa?
It's very interesting when some of these things, because what I try to explain to the gentleman is that we charge in kilobytes. That's 1 kilobyte, what KB is 25 batuts. And the reason, when we had the trouble of the unlimited bundles, as just as my colleague Tunkara mentioned, we find people using 800 gigabytes in a month. Really? We wonder how do you do that? So if someone can sit out there and suggest that probably all these people in this high table don't know what they're talking about, or Pura themselves, the regulators here are kind of lost, that's also something far-fetched. But unfortunately, we have to listen to what their concerns are and deal with them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. The customer is always king, and I hope you'll leave us as kings. Did we have somebody on the line? Yeah. Looks like. Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, afternoon, sir.
Go ahead, we're listening to you.
Yeah, my complaint will go to Africa.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the attorney is very expensive. I use all the years and land. But sometimes even you prefer to use Chromium to call Africa than to call Africa to Africa. But I have different one. And then I use $100 every day. You know, something will call me, I want you to deliver this and this for me. Sometimes I would prefer buying Chromium credit to call Africa to Africa. And then the network to really go to Basse area, 1 or 2 village after Basse, you know, the network is really bad there. Sometimes you call phone, the phone they will tell you that the switch off while the phone is on. So the network is really, very bad. Just like some Batako, Bassending, you know, Sabu Syria and all that. And then my second point is on the Pura. It seems Pura are not putting pressure on Africa or, you know, other years and more operators. You know, the way demand is answering the questions. And then I think the Pura will take the leads, you know, such, you know, malpractice and whatever, you know, go Africa, go always keep on people. So then they will try, you know, they will use, you know, a service that you don't even want. And if you call, you know, sometimes the response is very bad. So that was the time personally, I personally went to the office. I didn't angry, I said I would have their either SIM card and then to go to, you know, the post service day. So it's so crazy. So I think we also should, you know, take some steps. You know.
Okay, thank you. AfriCell, network problems, it's become difficult in some areas to use AfriCell to call another AfriCell.
Yeah.
You'll have to take Chromium to call AfriCell. Well, Chromium is getting good press today, aren't they? Musa, over to you. The other thing about cheating and whatever, I mean, that was not a question, that was just a comment.
It's not funny, and I'm laughing, but anyhow, I mean, these are, I mean, we have 4 operators in this country, and everyone is absolutely doing its utmost to serve. A perfect service doesn't exist anywhere, and shortcomings are sometimes bound to be experienced. And I mean, when these things happen, all that we want is to put it to our attention, because we also have men and women responsible for addressing these things. But probably, I mean, some of these people only wait for the consumer parliament gathering and voice it out. It will be recorded. But what we are asking for, if it happens to you anywhere, anytime, kindly make sure that fight your case, come forward, put it to the authorities, and it will be addressed. That's what we're asking for.
And the question to Pura, why are you so afraid of AfriCell that they can get away with murder?
What I want to employ the callers and the viewers for this program is, if you have any issues with your service provider, call us on 148, because we try to create a dialogue to make sure that there is an understanding between the service provider and the complainant. So whereby we don't know, we cannot intervene. The lifeblood of this regulatory authority is based on information. So the more information that we have, or any information that will guide us in our processes, we ensure that whatever enters at Pura, it's been redressed. So please, we are imploring you to call on 148 if you have any issues with your service provider at any given time. Our opening hours are Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Friday from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So please, call us on 148. If you think AfriCell is not giving you what you want, or they have been sarcastic on your phone calls, call us on 148.
All right. The question remains, Malamin, Sampo, Nicholas, do you have a caller? We don't, okay.
I think to say we are afraid of AfriCell.
No, that was my language, by the way.
Yeah,
that was not what you guys said.
Yeah,
Why are you not forcing AfriCell to do the right thing? They're saying.
Well,
there's somebody on the line, yes.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, we are listening to you.
I'm a customer of AfriCell.
Go ahead.
Last weekend, I bought some credit. Immediately after buying the credit, your culinary advert came. It came for the second time with message. Minus $250 credit. The next time, it always wrapped. How can you please explain?
I'm not quite sure. You understood anything, Musa?
I'm lost because you talked about $250 is credit.
Okay. The line was not very clear.
In short, last weekend,
When?
I got Africa credit up to $250.
Okay.
Immediately after that one, your economic advantage came. I didn't acknowledge it. The next time it came with minus $250 credit.
Oh.
And
That's
within
weird.
a bit of the eye, it was deducted from my amount.
$250.
You bought $250, eh? You got acknowledgement that you.
In that respect.
Where was that both?
Is he still on the line?
I got it from my neighbor. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You know, making all the case, acknowledging that if my credit has been dropped off with $250.
Okay. Let me just ask.
And then immediately after that, you know, after came, all the $250 disappeared in nothing else.
Okay. You bought this when? Can you tell me? Is that last week? Is he? Hello?
Friday before that.
Friday before last, 2 weeks ago. Okay. Can you kindly give me your number, if possible?
My number is 741-0050.
741 0050. Okay.
741-0050.
Okay. Can you kindly, come forward to Africell on Monday? Because sometimes you deal with this. It was a dealer you were dealing with. Probably I would not want to suggest anything in here, but I would just want to investigate, and if there is anything that we can do, I will redress this issue as soon as possible. Most definitely on Monday.
Okay, to add up a little, I expressed Pura one when we started the ringtone. And later on when the ringtone continued, it came also. This is the first time I'm experiencing it with coloring.
Caller a ringtone or phone ring.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Okay. I think we can now take him off. Is it possible to maybe send his number to your technicians to look at you know the date and everything? They should be able to do that. We have 1 hour 10 minutes to go. Should be able to sort that out. Yes, we have another caller. Good afternoon. Okay.
Yes, I'm listening. Good afternoon. I'm Tijani. I'm calling from Kodu.
Yeah, go ahead. We are listening.
Oh, okay. Good afternoon.
Yeah, sure.
I have a complaint against Pura for not acting on the complaints of the consumers. Some time ago, I think it was in March, that we complained that the services of Gamtel was not very good in terms of internet connection. They took all our names and they said they were going to compensate us. It's over 7 months now and nothing has been done. So Pura needs to back up and then take consumers' complaint seriously.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gamtel, 7 months ago, apparently you promised to compensate some aggrieved customers. 7 months after, they're still waiting.
No, I think the complaint is on Pura.
Is it? Okay, Pura, I didn't know Pura would compensate aggrieved Gamtel customers.
Yes, the complaint came to us. We invited run-down orders in our conference room, and we provided them with the list of names and the accounts that are affected. And for those that came to us are all adequately addressed, but we'll be happy to get the caller's information to know if his account was part of the list that was provided to us. But as far as we know, the ones that were referred to us, they were all adequately addressed.
Okay.
Thank you, Pura.
All right, very good. I still haven't got a response to Pura being toothless against Africa. By the way, those are not the words of the caller.
I think from what I can understand from the caller,
Yes.
he made mention that sometimes it's cheaper to use commune to call African.
Yeah.
Because all these small operators have their tariffs established, and most, if you go to their branches, they have all posted on their walls.
Mm-hmm.
But commune is running a program called $2.10 to any network. So naturally, if you use that service, sometimes it may be cheaper than calling from some calls within the same network. What is a special program commune is doing? But that doesn't reflect the general tariff in the country. That's a promotion.
He gave the example of buying 250 this minute and the next minute.
Yeah, but those are technical issues, and when they come to Pura, normally they are addressed.
Okay.
So that's just by the day, but it's not a deliberate.
Very good. There's a young lady here. Can we have her on now? Yeah.
Hello.
But I just no. Please hold on with that call, please. There's somebody here who's been waiting for a very long time.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Yes. Good afternoon.
My name is Fatih Jeng. I want to ask a question for officer. There was a day that I had a problem. Officer then, I even wrote a letter to them. So I went to officer.
Sorry, maybe the connection between him and them.
Yeah.
We're not saying you are inefficient. It's just that they are more comfortable with him, please. Yeah, and we're running out of time.
Oh. I am Fatu Jeng. I once visited official office. I inquired for credit that will last for 1 month. They had asked me to pay $970. I was happy, and I told my husband, and my husband is in Ireland. So because my husband wanted me to buy a lot of credit so that we can be communicating by video call. So after buying the credit for $970, the credit lasted for only 1 week. So, and I used it to communicate on WhatsApp. So, and it hasn't reached to 1 month. And my husband always called me, especially in the evening before going to bed. So I don't know why. And when I visited there, I was told it will last up to 1 month. It hasn't. I want to ask officer why. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's a tough day, huh?
It's a very tough day. Is he talking about data or
Data,
real
yes.
credit?
Data.
And you asked that it would last you 1 month?
Yeah, 900 and something you asked him to pay. You asked her to pay, sorry.
No, I didn't ask her to pay. Someone did. But anyhow, that's very interesting.
Africell asked her to play.
Thank you.
I thought when I say you would know it's
Absolutely.
Africell.
Here we are. Fat Jeng, $970 for a month long? No, I don't think so. But anyhow, I would definitely want to take this thing a little bit further and find out when is it that you bought this thing? One.
Yeah. Okay. If you have a caller, you can route them. Sorry. Oh, you're asking me a question.
I think he's talking to him. He's talking to her. Can't remember. 2 weeks ago. I would like to take her number and even, if possible, invite her. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
So take her. We take men's numbers on air. Women's numbers never on air.
Her number is 7.
No. Let's take it on. We don't want the wrong people calling her. Men don't call men back.
I'm getting you.
Okay, all right, go ahead. We're getting you finally.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm listening to you guys on Facebook, so I wanted to address something. I'm here in Italy, but you'll forgive me for the name. If my wife is calling me, she's using an official number. If she's calling me, obviously sometimes I see numbers from America, sometimes from Canada, sometimes from Belgium, so I don't understand why. So I wanted to know.
Okay. All right, thank you. Pura, or do we just address this generally to the GSMs? It's Pura, I think. Pura, Nicholas.
Yeah, thank you very much. As far as the numbers that are displayed are concerned, the Gambia has got jurisdiction on the numbers that are issued to them. When you are routing any call outside the country, it might be routed to so many countries. It could go to Japan, China, US, and end up in Italy. So during the process, some of the carriers do actually change the numbers. So we have no control over that. So it's normal. It's not normal, but then it is something that is actually accepted in the industry, because carriers in other countries sometimes actually do translate certain country codes, and everything can be deceptive.
So
it's not Gambia's fault.
What you are telling the caller is, it is possible for somebody to call from the Gambia, but then it terminates at him with a Canada number, it could be an Alaska number, it could be any other number.
Yes,
Okay.
and the reverse is also true. You can receive a call from the US, it's routed through UK to the Gambia, and then you receive a UK code when actually the origin of the call is from Canada. That is actually an acceptable phenomenon.
What would have been unacceptable? Because we've had our own cases here as well, that you people, Pura, said was unacceptable.
Yeah, the unacceptable is actually receiving an international call and getting a local number, because that one actually means that the number is routed through an illegal route.
Okay, all right, that's very clear. Can we have another video contribution, please? Because there are 7 of them, so we're going to number 4 now, is it? Number 4. Okay, if there's, let's have something here. Yes, go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Colbert. We normally have a communication with regards to all the GSM operators in the country. Comium stands out to be the best. I can attest to that.
Wow.
But after Comium, sometimes official, because I will be at home, people will be texting me, and our texts sometimes they don't deliver. I don't receive. So people will say, I send you message, SMS text, but I don't normally see them. So this is something that I want other GSM operators to also adjust on, especially if you are in some parts of Brikama. So if you buy $40, if you subscribe to Gamcell Credit.
Hello, can you wait to be asked again? All right.
So I think Africell in the part among the GSM operators, Africell is not helping customers. So because when we buy credit, it normally finishes easily. So compared to other GSM operators, so I think this is something Africell also needs to adjust on. When you're calling, I'm a deaf person, but sometimes when we give phones to our siblings to make calls for us, most of the I realize that Comium is the best. But with regards to Africell, they definitely need to adjust. And definitely most of the time, we talk behind Africell. But I think forums like this is important for us to express our feelings. I think it's normal. So Africell needs to understand that. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, he's right. You can come here and vent your spleen and, hopefully go out there and continue using the service, having been, assured that things will get better. But it's a very good evening for Comium. Maybe you should be advertising more to get more customers.
We will. And I would like to have his number.
Yeah, I expected that.
I would like to have his number, definitely.
Yeah. And then you'll send him to the next consumer parliament to repeat the same thing. I hope you didn't have the number 10 years ago.
No, we didn't. And thank you very much. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Can we now have the consumer parliament thing?
mooy suñ tubaal ya ok am nañ jafe-jafe wàllum ndox ak courant ndox bi normalut tey mu ñëw suba du ñëw understand courant bi nag moo gën a woos ndox bi moom tane na waaye courant bi moo gën a woos bi last year si Tabaski bi.
man Bakoteh laa dëkk si Pagaras waaye ndox bi moom amuñ jafe-jafe ndox bi moom sometime la demee waaye courant bi moom dañ dee am jafe-jafe si courant bi bu baax.
Talinding Colobane laa dëkk just by Colobane garage dama am problème ak suma wiring bi aluminium lañ jël instead of copper so always daf dee spark especially nawet every time léegi-léegi suma neighbors yëpp dinañ am courant ba mu des suma kër complain naa ko ba soona nawet dañ fa dee ñëw seet ñu ñëw defaral ma du dee jël 2-3 days daf dee yaaxu te most of the time su dee comme su spark bi amee daf dee jël like 3-4 days balaa gaay di ñëw pour ñu defaral ma
Latrikunda si boor bu wasoon bi sometimes dañ dee toog si bi di ba 3 bañ laal pour ñu mun a dimbali suñu maire mun a am ndox sometimes dañ dee wàccee liggéey sax pour na sangu sa c'est problème loolu tam beneen jafe-jafe la light bi tam same thing sometimes light bi su demee bàyyi muy ñëw after 2 la dee ñëw wala after 1 su guddi.
No.
Yeah, the buffer zone to opposite the market in Latrikunda is one area where we have challenges. Even last week we were there with the National Assembly member who was here earlier in the morning. We have plans to upgrade the system and then also improve the supply to Fajikunda tank. Because they only have water when you have the tank at high level, which is very difficult to attain during the day because of the demand. We are aware of the problem and they are working towards it, and surely very soon the problem will ease. So we are sorry for the inconveniences that our customers go through for staying late to wait for water. But it will soon be history, inshallah.
Somebody sending a text message. What about those who are there? Sorry, what about those who are not there and want to call? We've been saying all day that you can call via 148, isn't it? 148. Just call 148, and 148 should be toll free, really, isn't it? Yeah, it's toll free, so you don't need credit to call. Good day, Uncle Peter. Can you kindly please forward this to AfriCell? Why should they deduct once bonus every 10 days or so? I buy credit to activate the 1.5 gigabytes data service every 12 days, but they deduct the bonus I had before that moment. So they have credit to call with, they convert it to bonus, but you still go ahead and, take all the bonus away after. He's saying 10 days actually, every 10 days. Is it 10 days?
No, it's 2 weeks. I don't know what's up.
And this is Ahmad Sane. So maybe I can give you his number, please. And then
Please. He got it wrong. It's 2 weeks.
Okay. Let me read another one. Please ask now the following: how do they read their water meters? Is the meter set to 0 after every reading? The reader in my mother's place does not take the difference between the previous reading and the current one to get the actual consumption. Example, last month it was 3560, and this month it is 3590. The difference in consumption is 30. Instead, we are billed for the 3590. I don't know whether it's making sense.
Actually, it's not making sense because when you have a previous reading and
3560, and the following month it's 3590. Well, I would say
that's the difference is 30 cubic meters.
Yeah, I would say that's a working meter. It's not like it's the same reading. But how should it be normally? I mean, is 30 for a month-long consumption normal? Exactly. Is it below the minimum allowable or what?
Well, no, it will just depend on the number of people that are using the service.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question again is to Nawek. Why do we normally encounter low voltage of electricity in Brufut Nema?
But I think that was already answered by Mr. Ba.
That was already answered. Okay.
Yeah.
These are text messages I haven't been looking at from people who know my numbers. Okay. 148 if you want to call in from outside. Ah, okay. Can we have the lady at the back there?
Okay, I am Daisy from iAfrica.
Sorry, there's somebody on the line here. Let me take the caller. Yes, go ahead. We are listening.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
My name is Hassan Jallo. I'm calling you guys from the US.
Go ahead, Hasimi.
I have a follow-up questions. Two of my brothers already called you guys. One of them is also from the US. He's on Gambia right now on a vacation.
Okay.
He's the one that explained about how the difference between a megabyte, kilobyte, and a gigabyte. He was the one that just called right earlier. And you guys, one of the ladies there, I think is from QCell, Wafis, sorry, that mentioned that she did not understand his question. And then it's very disappointing for one of the gentlemen, I think he's from Africa, to say that they were watching people download or use over 800 gigabytes of data. My friend, that is practically impossible unless your math is wrong in how you're calculating the gigabyte. My house, I have an office, okay? The whole month, I have like 6 to 7 computers always running. I stream Netflix non-stop. I have 7 TVs all on the internet. And every month, I can send you guys my bill. Every month, I use somewhere about 90 to 100 gigabytes a month. My cell phone, I have 3 lines. Every month, I use about 40 gigabytes. And that thing is non-stop streaming. I have an Africa line and a QCell line every time I come to Africa. Before I go, because I keep my lines here with me, I keep buying every month. I will buy $10 to $15 of credit, just to make sure my line is not cut off. Every time I come home, I will buy about $200 to $300 worth of just services, and that doesn't last long. The big question is, either you guys don't know how you guys are calculating your gigabytes, or you are selling something on the false pretense. Because if I buy, like last month, my brother bought about 128 gigabytes, about $3,600 from Africa. In about 5 to 10 days, he consumed almost half of that. That's not even touching the surface of what the issue is. Like my brother said, every time we come home, we turn off all the apps that are constantly refreshing or appearing on the background. We turn them all off. The only thing we leave on is just WhatsApp because we gotta communicate with our families. But I will see myself buying $3,000 every week when I'm in the Gambia. $2,000 to $3,000 every week. Now, granted, I do give people credit here and there, but it's not possible for me to consume that much data. All I'm saying is, and all the consumers are saying, and I'm speaking for everyone else out there, you guys need to be truthful in how you are decimating data, how you guys are saying what they're using. I understood one of the ladies from Africell said earlier that if you go walk into Africell...
There's no lady from Africell. The lady is from QCell.
Listen to me first.
The lady is from QCell. We're just helping you.
What I have to say. Someone said that if you walk into our QCell, they can give you a printout of your data or use it. That tells you everything you use. That's fine. But the problem is, I think it's about the language. Because it takes a lot to consume gigabytes. It takes a lot. So you guys are not being truthful to your customers. People like me, when I come home, there's a lot of people like me there. When we come, we can afford it, fine. We can buy it because we have to use it. But people that live home cannot afford it. So tell them the fact. Gigabytes takes a lot to use. They don't use it as much as you guys are claiming to. I can send you guys my bill, and you can look at it. A monthly usage is not more than 100 gigabytes. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. But we will correct you. The lady is not from Africell. She is from QCell. You didn't want to hear that, but I hope now that you've gone off and you are able to, at least listen carefully. The lady is from QCell. There's only one gentleman representing Africell. All right, guys. We're back to where we were. moments ago. You guys cheating us? We'll come back to that later on. Yes, good evening.
Yeah, Peter, how are you?
Very well. How about yourself?
Yeah, I want to know why those people have to pay money if they lose their phone. When you go to police station, they have to ask you about almost 11 euro, which should be free.
They ask you in euros.
If you lose your phone, you went to the police station, you have to pay about almost 11 euro to get your phone back.
Okay. Well, unfortunately,
Go to the Gamcel or Africell or whatever. But these Africell or whatever, these steam operators, GSM operators, should be normally free.
okay. Let me get your question.
For any individual customer from them to find their numbers for them, phone for them.
Okay. So you're talking about
If
phone.
they go to the police station, we have to pay a lot of money. It means that the thieves, they have for right. Now nobody go to the police station to go for your phone. So it will cost you a lot of money.
Okay. All right. You're talking about phone tracking, right?
What?
Phone tracking. If you lost the phone, so you go to the police. They ask you 11 euro for what?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
11 euro to do.
It normally, it is a free. You can do it by phone to police. In a similar to what, they will start so your number will be counted. They will get your number and then they will know which phone was your phone directly.
Okay.
One day you'll be sitting there, the police will call you to go and receive your phone from nearest police station.
Okay. Okay, but it is the police that ask for the 11 euro, not the company.
Yeah, but why should we pay for this?
No, I just want.
GSM operators, they know that we pay money.
I just want to understand. Okay, go ahead. Mr. Tukara will respond.
Yeah. Actually, it's not the police, it's the operators that charge for the service. And it's printouts of their calls that are given to the police. And it's $200 as we charge. We do not, for CUSA, we do, here, we might not be in the civilized world, but that's how we do it.
Okay. Gamsel, do you charge for that kind of service?
Yes, good afternoon. Yeah, we do charge.
How much?
150.
100?
But we only charge when there are records. When there is no records, it's like free.
Okay. Afrisal, do you charge?
Yes, we do charge, Peter. It's 150 that we charge for a printout. But this printout must be accompanied by a request from the Inspector General of the Police.
Okay. Comium, do you charge?
Yes, the same thing, 150 that we charge, but it should come from the police, a printout.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so is 11 euro 150 or 200?
I don't know. I only work in dialysis. Maybe you have euros.
No, you only work in. Okay. Pura, where's Pura? What's Pura's role in this? No, the roving mic is coming, yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, we had a memorandum of understanding with the police to ensure that if a customer requests for call data records, they are provided contingent on the Inspector General issuing a note. Then that's how they go to the operators and they are provided with the records, because there is a Data Protection Act.
Okay.
And we actually have to apply ensure that the data of the operator, the customer is protected. No one can just come and walk and get data.
Okay.
It has to follow due process.
Fantastic. All right. Let's go back to the lady, please, who was interrupted by that call. Thanks for your patience.
All right. I am Daisy from iAfrica TV. And my question goes to NAWEC. That is lack of enough electricity supply and then water in the Gambia is very, very alarming. And as we can see today, half of the questions that were directed to NAWEC today was all about electricity supply and water. So for how long Gambians have to live in this situation? And I want to know what are some of the plans put in place by NAWEC in order to remedy this situation, and if there are any plans put in place by them, how are they planning to implement this situation to ensure that Gambia, like any other countries, enjoy full supply of electricity and water?
Okay.
Thank you.
NAWEC, what are your plans to provide stable electricity and water supply to the Gambia? And by what date?
Actually, Peter, I think on the side of electricity, to be honest, people have to be factual as well, because we don't have that shortage of electricity that we used to have. At the moment, the only issue that we have is on the lines, and basically at the moment our demand, the capacity is more than the demand, but the infrastructure is the one that is old, and we are trying to replace the line itself. But definitely at the moment, I think on the side of electricity, we are not doing bad, and then we hope that that would continue, because we still have projects that are on the line, like the the dam project is about to be OMVG project, that is the dam, where electricity is coming from the dam in Guinea, is about to be launched in 2021. So obviously we will be having still more additional excess capacity, which is good, so that in the event we want to go on maintenance, you can still have a capacity that can replace the engines that are going on maintenance. On the side of water, I would allow Sekan just to highlight some of the projects that are in place to make sure these issues are also addressed.
Thank you for the question. This concern is a concern that NAWEC has been fighting with for so many decades. As you know, recently we have a population boom in GBA. All the Jarankas have moved to this area. That has seriously put pressure on infrastructure. But as I have said earlier, we have projects, we know the problem, and we have projects to take care of them. At most, in 3 months' time, Kanifing and Bakau, we think, and this is real, that the problems will be solved in Kanifing and Bakau, because we have boreholes that are to pump to Kanifing and Bakau. When you look at the history of this place, the first boreholes we had in Kanifing, in Bakau area, we are in the early 60s. There are 7. Eventually, we had to decommission 2 of them because of quality issues. So we have only 5 now. When we had no new town, there are no new town, the Fajara M sections and F sections, and you name all those areas. So we are struggling with the supply. But we are replacing these boreholes with 8 additional boreholes, of course, with bigger capacities to supply. And the project will commission by first quarter of 2021. So water will not be a problem in those areas. So the water that we are supplying to those areas now, we'll be able to divert it to some other areas. And in addition to that, the OIC, we have a water project where we expect to have 250 liters per second treatment plant. And the AFD is also aimed to address the water problem in GBA. So, we are not at rest. The government is not at rest. The aim is, the ultimate aim is to address these issues within the shortest possible time. But projects have their life cycles. They must go through, especially when they are international projects. It takes time. Unfortunately, especially with this COVID, it has delayed this Indian project, because all the projects, by nature of the contract, all materials have to come from India. So that has really delayed. But of course, the concerns are known, and the government and NAWEC are working to address them.
All right. Thank you very much, Sekan. Looks like we are having new members joining us. I hope they have questions of their own. Do we? Okay. We have 2 hands going up that way. Yeah. Can we have the microphone over? Very quickly, by the way, we have just over half an hour left. Go ahead. Is the mic on?
Of course. I would like to ask in the local language.
Yeah, go ahead, sure.
Yeah. This question goes to Nawek. Nying mustoril de mealonko abota Brikama.
This is a story from Brikama.
Yeah. Amari nying adingo kurango yo according to story ning kurango problem yo sunta wala la sayala wali yankuba keta abota brikama berewuleng
The source.
yankuba ala adeng aytani le ko ala nawek la wiring system o koren mem bota polo bala kadung ala bongo kono normally ika bla pipe lo kono so ma bla pipe kono so corrugate on be iron corrugate ni wala filo ni aya peel so then the corrugate was spark so then service pole lo be corrugate o bara so that service pole didn't 5 year didn't win ay wala muta so didn't win aya mass after day that was on the 12th May 2020 this year so then bill worketa another ka follow up ke nawek because another ntolla platform auto le nga bonde at live program molio call ke for nawek la modul nata je ka find out so then according to Yakuba Galia accept le ko nawek la fault le keta wote so then inada fire ko iba compensate la so compensation on kabri me akakata nawek la office le nata iba fala tajan najan wareta ye kayto nyini so fatata ay police la kayto nyini atata amanda woto atata Brikama Magistrate Court fanang I can't also I have copies of those papers with me here. So then ako yet still from me among kodosoro fensoro nawek bul mealonko inyanda ka au ka abulmose wala dal. And then the other team fanang is the same guy. Ako almost coming 2013 ani mole member sabatering I geo apply the same area will be a geo sort of father dama and then I often complain nawekle yani mol direct but still now those people imantara kela moala at this moment and then another question to Nawek is for us at Home FM in Brikama we do face some challenges pertaining to current. Sometimes you realize that in fact the whole Brikama would get current except our area. In most cases there's a certain period of time when that time comes normally we lose, we don't have current. So these have been going on for almost, some months. So I don't know. I want them to help me with the cost of that. And then the GSMs also. Normally for us, we have an online TV. When we go out to cover some programs live outside, we have a problem. Normally, some of especially Gamcell is a problem. When you go beyond Jaros, in fact, before Jaros, sometimes you don't. Official. When you go to provincial country, away from provincial towns, you lose network in most cases. So I beg for them to at least do some adjustments so that the online TV stations and other people who normally depend on internet data, life can be very easy for us also. Thank you.
Very well. The question in the local language is as follows. He said the source is from one young Cuba who lives in Brikama, whose child got an accident by electrocute and he suffered as a casualty to that accident caused by an exposed wire live cable owned by NAREC. He said in 12 May 2020, this is when it happened. So the case went to Brikama, magistrate, court, whatsoever, but nothing came out of it. NAVEC also promised to compensate, but as I speak, nothing has been done with regards to this case. We have another problem, meaning concerning water, and Home FM also, which is stationed in Brikama, also face challenges when it comes to power supplies. So to sum it up, the issue of this child is definitely the question who's in the local language. Peter, I hand over.
Okay, Nawek, speak for yourselves.
Actually, Peter, I don't know. I've not heard about this before, and maybe by the time we finish the program, we'll try to get the guy's contact number and try to liaise with the admin department in NAVEC to find out whether this was brought to their attention. and then we'll take it off from there.
Okay.
Well, when it comes to his electricity supply,
yeah.
Maybe Francis.
My name is Francis Member from Nawek TND.
Francis Member?
Yes, please.
Not Mendy?
Not Mendy.
Member?
Yes, please.
As in Member of Parliament?
Yeah.
That's a new one.
Yes. Concerned about the question that the gentleman just raised about the Brikama FM, I don't know what he means by the other areas you normally have. And is it that they are the only one that's affected, or the neighborhood?
Compounds around you would have electricity, but you wouldn't have?
Yeah, normally what happens is from 7 or sometimes from 8 towards 10, all the other areas in Brikama will be having current except where we are.
When you say where we are, the whole area where you are does not get electricity?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a whole area, not just them.
Because the reason why I asked that question, I just want to establish certain facts in the sense that whether it's due to low voltage or not. But what I know for recently, the problem we used to have before, now I can say that problem is solved. So I don't know whether his problem is still there. In the sense that now, we used to have a problem with the power.
Has it improved within the last week? It has improved within the last week. So this is an old problem.
Not that much old, because for the past months it was there, but recent weeks, we have seen some improvement.
Yeah, for the past months we all had the same problem.
Not everywhere.
I'm saying for the past months we all experienced the same problems. West Coast Radio, we were calling them to say what's happening.
But we know for us, we are not there, so we cannot speak for you people.
No. What we are saying is, we all stopped complaining a week ago. Like you were saying, the problem was, had stopped more than a week ago. No, not so?
Is your problem solved?
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh my. Thank you.
Okay.
Peter.
All right.
Hello,
GSM
Peter.
companies, particularly Gamcell, you said you had issues with?
Peter?
Yeah?
I just want to shed light on the connection of Yakuba that he was talking about.
Oh, okay. I thought that was electricity, not water.
No, water. It was water.
But it was water?
Yes, water.
Okay.
Actually, what happened was Yakuba paid for a service, and unfortunately, the pipe is on the other side of the road, which we have no control over. Because for one to be able to cut the road, you need to go to NRA for them to issue you with the permit, and in this permit you pay. Unfortunately, at the time, Yankuba said he cannot afford it. The second point also was his service was beyond what he has paid for, because he was invoiced for 10 meters and his service was 40 meters. He personally came to my office and I explained that this was happening. Fortunately for him, somebody paid to cross the pipe. Then when they were executing that, I instructed them to lay a pipe, a provisional pipe for him, so that if he is able to pay for his supplementary, then the road cut will not be there, which we have done. If you ask Yankuba, he will tell you.
Okay.
So he is to pay for his supplementary, and after paying the supplementary, we have already made provision for him to be connected to the other side, because somebody paid, and when they were cutting, so I said, let us lay this provisional pipe for him.
So the ball is now, so to speak, in Yankuba's court.
Yeah.
Okay. And GSM companies with weak signals in provincial areas, particularly Gamcell, you were named again.
Peter, I think it's the same thing. We have some provincial sites that we actually shut down. Some of them are like, maybe I can use the word obsolete. So in order not to allow it on, frustrating customers, it's better for us to shut them down while we work on providing better services, as I said, in the coming year.
Okay, all right.
Basically.
And you think those customers will just wait and wait and wait? They wouldn't go elsewhere? Okay. If we don't have any more, okay. Just go ahead. Yeah, just talk into the mic. Don't worry about handling it.
Okay. I have a question to the mobile GSM providers.
Yeah.
Especially AfriCell. Do the mobile providers publish their roaming charges anywhere, or do they make that information public? My second question is, how how does a customer in any of these companies, especially FSO as well, how do they acquire their personal data in terms of like a statement for like their calls, their texts, at the times they've done those, the data consumption? Is this data made public to the individual requesting it? And how does one go about doing this?
Okay. Yeah, let's start with Comium. Comium.
We don't have problem with that, with the question that he asks.
It doesn't apply to you?
No.
You don't I thought you said you started having data and all of that.
Yes, it's different. We are service provider,
yeah.
But the data, we are not yet 3G. So we don't have problem with that.
So nobody can browse the internet with Comium?
You can browse the internet.
Yeah, but that's data, isn't it?
Yes, but what I'm saying is 3G. They are saying about 3G. Is he not saying about 3G?
No, he's just talking about data.
Yes.
Are you not talking about data in general?
No, I'm talking about your personal information in terms of the calls, data,
or your personal
text,
data.
everything.
Personal data. Okay. All right. Okay. What do you do to protect your consumers' personal data? That's the question.
Yes. Well, anybody, you cannot just come like that and we give you data like that. Like you must first, if it is a police report, you bring the police report to us, then we go through it in our system. Okay. Then we verify.
No, let's come to QCell because Mr. Tukara understands the question differently.
I think the question he asked was how does one get information, personal data? Was it that?
Okay. Such as my calls, my internet spent, what text, at what time did I do it, all of that. My own data.
Okay, all right. So,
okay.
You provide internet. Let's go back to Comium and work done. No, let them answer.
I don't understand it properly.
Okay, Annie will answer here.
Okay, for QCell, like I mentioned earlier, you'll have to call 111. We wouldn't be able to provide it because of SIM registration restrictions and things like that. So you'd have to come to a customer care center and show us your ID, which matches your SIM registration details, and we should be able to provide that data to you at any time. Sorry?
How long does the process take? And the second question was about the roaming charges.
I think that also depends on the period because obviously we don't encourage customers to come and ask for data that is like 2 years old or 6 months old because it takes a lot of resources to actually pull that data. But if you had an issue for like the past week or so and you want to get that data, we can give it to you. I think right on the spot. Usually customers ask for data for a 3-month period and that is provided usually on the spot.
And you also had a question about roaming charges,
yeah,
right?
Do they publish their roaming charges? And where can we find it?
You can get roaming charges by calling 111. We do not publish our roaming charges, but at any point, if you're traveling to any specific country, you can call 111 and they will give you all the data, voice, and SMS charges.
All right. Gamsel?
Thank you very much for the question. Likewise, customer data is only given on request with the presence of the customer. And in most cases, depending on what is requested, a formal written request is sought before that data is actually given to the customer.
Do you publish your roaming charges?
We don't.
Okay. Afrisel?
Thank you. I think the same thing applies to us equally. I mean, data is very much protected, and it takes a really good reason for us to publish. For us to grant you one. Roaming charges, it can be given. It's not published, but I mean, if you want to know, I mean, whatever you spend on or your charge, and at the end of your trip anywhere in the world, if you come back, we should be able to, tell you. Or show you what is it that you are being charged by our partners, depending on wherever you happen to go around the world. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Okay, now it makes sense to you, the questions, yeah?
Yes, now I understand it pretty well. It's the same thing. So when they come and they request for data, we give it to them, and we will first have to verify that it's you. Then we give it to you. And roaming, the same thing. When you come, when you call, we will tell you, okay, this is how it goes. Then you're okay with it, fine.
All right, fantastic. Do we have somebody waiting to speak to us? Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that the Consumer Parliament?
Yes, it is.
Yes, I want to just put across a very some serious observations with regard to the answers given by some of these GSM companies.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, we're listening.
Yes, one of the Kingston guys did say that he can download 8 gigabytes of data in his office in 10 minutes, 5 gigabytes of data in his office in 10 minutes. Now, this actually requires a speed of 8,000 kilobytes per second. It is impossible.
I invite you to come to my office on Monday morning and I'll show you.
I said they have observed some people downloading 800 gigabytes of data in 30 days. Now, to do this, you need to sit down on your computer and have a download speed of 300 kilobytes per second for 24 hours a day for 30 days non-stop. These two things are practically impossible. It is important for these GSM guys to give us something realistic. Let them be honest with the customers. No, those two statements are not factual. In fact, they are very misleading. And I'm actually very disappointed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
They really think sometimes, and this is the question, this is the problem with Gambia. Most of the GSM companies do understand people's lack of understanding on some of these technical issues, and that's what they probably use to cheat.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you very much. Guys, you're taking us for a ride.
Well, we're not. Well, we are not at QCell, and frankly, I'm offended that you're accusing us of cheating because we don't steal from people. And that's a pretty heavy accusation. And if the gentleman would like, he can come to my office on Monday morning and I'll show him how I can do it.
Okay, all right. Gamsel? Gamsel, no response.
Actually, I don't think that was directed to us. It was directed to...
Yeah, I know. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, they're simply saying that the GSM
no,
companies...
actually, we don't cheat. You know?
They're saying that the GSM companies are taking advantage...
We're a highly ethical company.
According to the caller, GSM companies are taking advantage of the consumer's lack of technical knowledge of how these things work, you know, to just make money out of us. That's
well,
basically...
that is his opinion, but then that doesn't apply.
All right. Okay. Yes?
Oh, okay.
Coming from Pura, yes, go ahead. Yeah. Okay. So the GSM companies are right. Yeah, okay.
Like what he's saying on my connection, because I'm on the main connection, I get over 80 megabytes per second. So work it out.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay. Just to clarify on the issue of the 800 gigabytes and the guy was talking about. So sometimes these things, of course, no one cheats. When you don't understand someone's work, you can only accuse the person of cheating. And we don't have to entertain it. But the fact is that when the issue of the bundles came about, what we found was that people were using the service given to them as an individual user, more of an internet cafe. So to sit out there to suggest that such is not possible is just not absolutely acceptable. So these are things that everyone around the table should dismiss. Not that we don't cheat or we don't do. Nobody cheats. If you don't understand what someone is doing, you can only accuse the person. And I think I speak for everybody.
Yeah, maybe that bit of somebody using it, you know, for commercial purposes was never, you know, discussed.
Absolutely, because you came in and as a domestic user, you know, there is something NAWEC would charge as a domestic rate, a domestic meter and an industrial. Okay. So you came in and asked for a domestic, router, and you went in and started using it on an industrial basis. Of course, you will accumulate industrial, home service.
Okay, yeah, Musa is off now. Use the next one, the one beside you. If it works, yeah.
Just to add to what he just said, I don't understand why consumers are actually questioning that, because in our case, we actually saw customers, a couple of them, using up to 1 terabyte of data a month.
Wow.
And like he said, they buy the routers for an individual use, and they ended up running a cyber cafe. So if you have 20 people connecting to these routers, the usage could go up to that level. We've actually seen corner shops charging $10 a day for users when they only paying $2,000 a month for those routers. So the usage is over the roof, and at the end of the day, it basically affects the user experience of all the users that are connected to the network. And that is the reason restrictions have to be put in place.
Okay. So can we have the final recorded videos with questions or queries for, yeah, we'll come to you later on. No, you keep coming with the same issues all the time. You keep coming with the same issues all the time. Yeah, you do.
Mooy talenting, you know. Yeah, ñu bari ñu ko xam talenting bantaba, you know. Yeah, so waaye fii ñun even ñun sax suñu boy si ñu bari ñu ngi liggéey QCell te ñun mostly QCell leen di gën a use because suñu xarit yi foofu la nekk so dañu dee mën a apply dañu dee mën a convince pour ñu ñëw ñu dugga foofu noonu ñu mën a am lu ñu bëgg a foofu noonu waaye it's just a word because ñun amuñ fa loolu yaa ngi understand because QCell man since man koo use waaye everything is running down xam nga ma laa wax nii du network man spécially man suma boppa many people dey am day dégg seen complain waaye man man QCell ma nekk di use since ever even nit yi ma dee call from different places duñ ma dee am so then damaa génn si biti sax dajee suma xarit yi ay friends family ñu ne ma ne yow dañ la dee call sa phone is always off so dama foogoon ne comme dafa nekkoon ne comme suma condition bi fii la suma néeg waaye du ma dee feel like that comme loolu dafa war a happen because of si néeg waaye suma génn even suma kër bi fii every time you know loolu moo dee nekk suma main problème ni si am maa call man dama complain si persona dem naa ba QCell est complain naa si gars yi amul seen customer care bu ma call dama leen call several times what they always told me waaw nii la dara sa di sama waay bi reset ko defuñ ko nii is all what they tell me so ñun jafe-jafe moo nekk fii problème bi pour ñu call la ñu am la it's a problem definitely ñun mun nañoo call outside ñu am anytime waaye pour nit yi call ñu am ñu loolu difficulté la si ñun definitely.
Yeah, maa ngi use QCell ak Africell but network yi nowadays especially night time da nga dee find very difficulty for QCell nag soo nekkee si biir néeg bi especially nga nekk si biir néeg pour nga am sa connectivity bi daf dee war jafe because guddi bi dafa nekk loo xam ne nit yi ñu ngi bari online ñete ñu ngi use data bi da nga dee find yaa ngi am data connection bi wante connectivity bi mu ngi war weak so da nga dee jafe-jafe sa crédit bi daf dee dem dal ni yëpp la because amoon na time sa boori Hamad yaa suma boy yu fa nekkoon ñooy su lay demee dundee mën a am connection pour call sa so gars yi laaj su demee foofu noonu they find it very difficult pour gars yi am seen lifin bi boobu QCell bi la xamoon. Pura na telekana makuyo Gambia.
Okay, now they're going to the next one. We shouldn't be seeing this, Nak. Okay, Guy Changling. QCell, Bori Talinding. Network problem around Talinding? Is that for Augustine or Ami? Who?
I think we have to admit that we're aware of issues around that area,
Okay.
and we're working on that, and that should be resolved very soon.
Okay. All right. I have a written question here. Peter, is there no warranty on Gamtel equipment? This was when we were talking about the tower, Ajiramu. Do you have, first and foremost, do you sell, these routers and modems and whatever? And if you do, what's the warranty on them, if there is any warranty?
Yes, we do sell modems and routers. And as in any electronics, we do not have warranties. Once you buy them, you take them home, and then it is connected and it works, it is yours.
Okay.
But when we are installing it, and there is defects or factory, we change it because we want to ensure that we give you something that is good. And the other commitment is that we ensure that we buy routers of quality to avoid, customers suffering and having to, because we have had instances where customers would go to containers and buy second-hand routers and compromise the service, and then there were issues.
Okay.
So,
My time says 12 minutes to 6. The last 5 minutes we will... Okay, we have a caller. Yes, good evening. Good evening.
I have a
Quickly, please, go ahead.
For the megabyte, whenever I put megabyte for price, I only buy that, but it used to take me like one sometimes. So, like 2 days, that it will be finished. Problem, we keep buying it and broadband, so then it will go. So before it wasn't like that. So we are tired of this. This has been going on for like how many months or weeks. People whenever we buy our credit will take only few days that it will go. It's very sad. It's very sad. Please let us help us.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's a desperate customer. He needs help from QCell and AfriCell. How do you respond to him? QCell.
I think we've addressed that question a number of times.
He's accusing you of robbery.
Which I said we can always give them proof, and if they're not satisfied, they can take it to the regulator. In terms of, I think he's talking about, it's one thing owning a phone and actually understanding how the phone works. A lot of people believe that as long as the internet is on and the phone is not in their hand, it should not cost them anything. You have software upgrades, and everyone wants a 3G or 4G phone nowadays. So you have the software running, several times a week. You have different background apps running in the background, but no one wants to understand that. And I think the only thing they want from us is to offer data for free. Unfortunately, we're not in a position to do that. So
How sad. I'm disappointed. I thought you were going to say we will start offering for free from this.
No, those days are over for now. But also, I want to say now people talk about how internet is a necessity in their lives. So people are using the internet more and more and more. So obviously they're going to be consuming more and more.
Absolutely.
I think that's a factor as well.
Absolutely, yes. AfriCell?
Thank you. I think, this is an issue we've addressed, and my sister did just the same, respond to it in, actual fact that to do us a favor, do themselves a favor, do the consumers a favor, is to know these gadgets in your hands. Please, please, please. You don't have to sit, after using a service for the last 2 months and then coming down here to complain about it today. Come to us the day it happened to you, and it will be redressed on the spot. If there is anything that you need to be told, we will tell you and inform you so that you can inform somebody who's suffering from or has suffered from the same calamity that befalls you. At least you will ease the burden on our head so that we can go and invest our time and energy on other things. But we keep repeating and answering the same question. That doesn't help us. Thank you.
Speaking of repeating, let's bring in Sampo here to react to the suggestion that despite numerous consumer parliaments, you will find out that some of these queries we've been hearing all day today have been dealt with in the past. We were promised that they were going to be solved, and they keep coming up. So how I was told that Sampo would want to say something on this. Give him a microphone that will make him audible to everyone, please.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. I think definitely after every consumer parliament, the day itself is one part of the event. There's a follow-up on all the short term, like there were promises made for Monday, and there are certain things that will take longer. So I think from what we have seen from the last 6 parliaments, there's always improvement. Some of the operators have given examples. So if you look at the last Consumer Parliament, if we take an operator like NAWEC, in 2017, there were a lot of electricity issues. But some of these public investment issues also take time. So you can't build a power station, even if NAWEC made the promise for a week or a year, it won't happen. So some of these things take time. But I think generally, we have seen progress. But there are certain issues that keep also, there's some sort of cycle, they improve and they come back again. And new technology has also come in. When we first started, it was mostly a voice issue. Now we are mostly on a data issue. So I think 3G, 4G, and we're seeing also, even the lady that made the comment regarding at the NAWEC customer care. 2-3 years ago, you could only buy it from NAWEC or Eltin Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are about 5 or 6 options. You can buy it from many apps. And these solutions are all coming from complaints that consumers also make.
True.
Of course, there's a transaction cost, but at least the effort is being made to increase the choice for the consumer. And I think so that I wouldn't say that there is no progress. I think that for each consumer parliament, afterwards we do have we do make a lot of progress on what happens.
Mm.
So we do take this day very seriously.
Thank you very much, Sampo. It's 6 minutes to 6 by my watch, which may not be the most correct watch in town. But since at least I have the privilege of either allowing this session to go on or come to a close, we will definitely end at 6 o'clock. And I'd like to use this opportunity to thank the
Peter?
Service providers. Yes?
Peter here. I have just one remark just before you close, okay?
Just remark of how long?
2 minutes.
Yes, go ahead. Because if I close, then it's closed.
Okay. I just have a little observation,
Mm-hmm.
and that is throughout the session, you've realized that the questions have been pouring on one area, and that is generally on NAWEC or the mobile services.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty of this kind of forums is to enable service providers understand how they are performing and also get feedbacks on what they need to improve on. But if you look at this side of the table, the people in the broadcast industry do not receive most complaints.
I agree.
Does it mean we are doing excellent, or does it mean people don't care about what we do? I think this is an important question that we need to answer. We know, obviously, there are a lot of things that need to be addressed when it comes to our performance. And I was discussing with someone on the lunch, and I said, isn't there the need for content regulation? Because we don't have that in the Gambia. I don't know whether it's under the purview of Pura, but we are seeing on a daily basis an uncontrolled media, sort of not censored, thing, by the way, but people can just say whatever and in anyhow without any regulation in place. So I'm trying to think, because you have it in other countries. I mean, if you look at the OIC, for example, on every 1 or 2 years, they will organize a conference by an offshoot called IBRAF that will look into content issues and how content should be regulated across the OIC member countries. So is Pura also thinking about something like this?
Okay.
And also our coverage, our operations, how we conduct our business. I think if people give us feedback on these things, that would be very helpful. I don't know whether the consumer parliament should be re-devised again, so that at least it can be separate, right? And then the telecoms can be on their own side, and the broadcast can be, not for any reason of segregation, but to make sure that we also get the feedback needed, so that we can also build on our performance and also make sure we do better. I think that is what I want.
It's a valid point, but it has to do with the history of Pura. When Pura started, they were regulating the telecom sector. So everybody understood Pura to be here for Gamtel and Gamcell at the beginning. Then the others came, and as time goes on, because it was, they were also sustained by monies from these companies. That is why. So the new ones that came on, it will take time. And generally here, when you talk about broadcasting and whatever, people think straight away about what? GPU. because that's supposed to be the media organization. But as you say, maybe we should have different parliaments for the different services, because as you know, okay, we were talking about the internet service provided by the GSM companies, but you also have other internet service providers like Netpage, Unique Solution, and whatever. They have sent representatives here who have not received one single question. So their whole evening here has been wasted, if you like. Not that people don't have issues with their services. We could also tell our story at West Coast Radio when we started web radio, how we jumped from one service provider to another and ended up with the first service provider. So maybe this is something that Pura needs to look into. That if you lump us all together with the GSM companies, there are bound to be problems because they have more problems with their consumers than probably the radio stations and TV stations have and the other internet service providers. Nicholas, you want to say something?
Yes, briefly, the Gambian Media Council has been set up, which will actually address content issues. As far as the regulations are concerned, content broadcasting regulations, they have been forwarded to the relevant authorities, and once gazetted, they will become law. It actually takes care of some of the things that have been said here, like the sign languages being included in the news. So all those things are actually incorporated in the broadcast content regulations. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Very valid point. During the opening ceremony, we had actually made announcements that it's not only the GSM operators and NAWIC that are here. The television broadcasters are here, and the petroleum, likewise the radio stations. But I think consumers are more affected by have more issues on electricity and telecommunication services.
Because those are the services they directly pay for. West Coast Radio, you only need a transistor radio. You don't have to pay anything any day. Yeah, that's the difference. For this one, they spend money on a daily basis, so they are bound to be concerned by this. Well, thank you very much, especially those who have been following us on TV, online, and on radio. We have come almost to the end of the evening. I want to thank our consumer parliamentarians. It's been a very lively one, particularly those from the Organization for Visually Impaired, Organization for Hard of Hearing, and all of that. Thank you so very much. And to bring us to the very end of the evening, may I now invite the chairman of the Pura Board of Directors, to Mohamed Alingom, to come and end the session for us. Thank you so much. See you, in another, 2 years, Nicholas? 3 years? Oh, somebody lost their
indicated by some staff of Pura, not all the answers can be given here. Pura will follow up with the service providers so that your concerns will be addressed. Sometimes I think callers delve into very technical matters, which shows that I think both Pura and the service providers would have to do more on consumer education. Because sometimes I think it's a matter of not understanding what the issue is. And some of our telephones we use today are so powerful that they are almost like computers. So if you put them on and you sleep overnight and you don't put them off, they are consuming a lot of your credit, which you may not be aware. I mean, you may have paid for 500, which you think will serve you 2 weeks, and it serves you less than 2 weeks. Not forgetting that the machine you have is very powerful and is consuming a lot of what you have paid for. But this all requires for further consumer education by Pura and by the service providers so that people have a better appreciation of what they're using. I think that will resolve some of these misunderstandings. I think somebody also raised the fact that consumer parliament, one after the other, similar questions and concerns are raised. I think Pura has been taking down notes. As some persisters said, we will do follow-ups to have some of those implemented. But I think when we prepare for the next consumer parliament, we should have a checklist of what has been raised here, what has been done in resolving the concerns here, and what's planned to be done for those concerns that have not been resolved. So that right at the outset of the consumer parliament, somebody goes through that to inform everybody present that this was what was raised at the last consumer parliament. This is what has been done to resolve those issues so that we avoid the same questions being raised again. As I said, it has been a very long day. So I want to thank the Pura management, the service providers, and all this time. I've noticed that the service, although some consumer parliamentarians have been going in and out, but the service providers have sat it out the whole day, which shows that they give particular consumer parliament and to what the consumers are raising. Because as somebody said, it will also help to improve the delivery of their services. And in some instances, it will create them business because they now know where there is business which they have not yet covered. But all the same, I should thank them for staying out the whole day. What I'm supposed to do is to express appreciation to everybody for being here the whole day, and we look forward to having another consumer parliament in 2 years' time. Thank you very much.